Well, there is this thing called serendipity, which means something that kind of happens, not necessarily for the good, but it happens close to something else. What would you say serendipity is, Kevin? It's I say that was serendipitous. Like I was thinking of something, and then this thing happened, or someone called me, and I said, "Oh, it's serendipitous that you called me."
Yes.
It means I was wanting to speak of this subject, or I wanted to solve this situation, and you decided
a pleasant
to
surprise.
Do it. Yes. This morning on the Howard Stern Show, they were talking about Bill Cosby, and we spoke of him yesterday, and I said that I used to, I started my whole career as a kid, as a 15-year-old kid, imitating Bill Cosby. And when was this Newsweek article out, Garrett? Is it recent, or is it something
I think
from
it
before?
Just came out.
The 12th of February.
Wow, I pulled it up. It looks like, and if I'm wrong on the numbers, I apologize, and this is alleged, some double-digit number of women have accused Bill Cosby of drugging them and raping them.
Oh my God!
I know,
but this is I remember hearing this back when I lived out in Los Angeles, and he was accused, and then you didn't hear anything about it again. Maybe
they settled.
They had settled something out of court, and then the woman wasn't able to discuss her settlement.
Right, they settled.
So what is the basis of this article? Is it just like
It's a bunch of women.
And they've all gotten together and.
Yes,
wow.
There was a woman. There's a woman, Tamara Green, spoke with Newsweek in regards to her allegations. Green was one of many women that came together. And Christina, did you read this?
I read something similar to that, not the Newsweek article, but I was reading something that...
You're reading Fat Albert?
They were saying, why doesn't anyone care about the sexual allegations against Bill Cosby, especially with Woody Allen's,
thing, right.
Thing.
The other day, and I have it...
I don't want to,
might even have
it's a sore subject. I don't want to think of Bill Cosby as a rapist ever.
Right.
Don't do it to me, Garrett. I got a whole routine to this.
Is this Fat Albert?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, this is Cosby. Okay. Yeah. Well, what are people saying out in Los Angeles? I mean, this must have been going 13 times. And what time frame was this, Jay?
Well, it was years ago. I mean, I don't think
Did it begin in the 60s, or when did he start raping?
I don't.
I guess the 70s.
He asked me to help him raise some
70s.
capital for a club he wanted to start. This is one of the women. I don't know if it was this Tamara Green or not. And I called him to cancel the meeting. I was feeling sick. He said, come to the restaurant anyway. You'll have lunch. You'll feel better. He gave me what he said were 2 over-the-counter cold tablets. I swallowed them. 20 minutes later, I did feel terrific. 30 minutes later, I was face down in my soup. He volunteered to take me home. Then, because I was so ill, he volunteered to undress me and put me in bed. I began to fight him. I swung a lamp and broke the window. He finally left. When I woke up, I saw that he'd left 2 $100 bills on the table next to my front door. I was so sincerely and deeply infuriated. Even through the drugs, I was crazed. I wanted to rip his neck off. I went to visit my brother, who was in the terminal ward of a children's hospital. Cosby, the smart man that he is, had been to the hospital to give presents to the kids. By the time I got to the hospital, my brother was glowing and saying what a great guy Bill Cosby was. Oh, yeah. Barbara Bowman said that in the 80s, Cosby took her under his wing when she was a teenager. It was then he repeatedly abused her emotionally and physically. And she joined a 2004 lawsuit. Wow.
And what happened with the lawsuit in 2004? Was that
somebody was there was a settlement of
a settlement?
Yeah. None of the abuse or drugging happened until I was 18. But on our very first meeting, which occurred in the conference room of a nightclub in Denver, he led me through an acting exercise. First, he told me to go to the bathroom and wet down my hair. Then he told me to sit in the chair, close my eyes, and act out a monologue as if I were really intoxicated. And he was touching my neck and stroking my hair. Jesus.
Were they all actresses or wannabe actresses or in the business?
Isn't everybody? I mean, if I met you in a club and I was, younger and more, and all night long I said how I think you could be an actress, and I did that for a couple of weeks, you would fall for it, Christine.
Eventually.
You would, yes. And then I would give you a pill and get on top of you.
Wasn't Lisa Bonet fired from the show because she did racy films during the off season?
Mm-hmm. One woman says I was terrified.
So he's a hypocrite also. So
allegedly.
I was terrified, said the woman, of him touching her neck and stroking the hair. This is all alleged. This is all alleged. I was so new to the business. This was my first experience with a real celebrity of such power. I thought, wow. Maybe this is what you're supposed to do.
But he doesn't use any bad language on stage.
No. This is about learning. How about if we go to one of his shows and go, God. Hey, what about Tamara Green touching her neck? Trying to get on top of a belt.
Well, his response is just going to be like, kids say the darndest things.
Grab the neck. Yeah. Russell. Come here, Russell. All right. Anyway, I didn't want to disappoint him, to think I couldn't follow directions. So she said she gave her all to this so-called drunken acting scene. I was assaulted a number of times from 18 to 19. Mm-hmm. Cosby would warn me before out-of-town trips, you aren't going to fight me this time, are you? Once we flew to Reno. He flew me out for a celebrity ski classic. Got me a hotel room, fed me a lot of alcohol, then pinned me down in his suite on the couch and made me masturbate him.
Gross.
He really intimidated me, and I panicked. From then on, I would be praying and begging to God that it was in my imagination.
Why did she keep going back with him?
She thought this was the way you did it.
Well,
this is another one, or maybe the same one. The first time I was drugged for sure was in New York when he invited me to dinner to his apartment. Mm-hmm. There was a chef, a butler. We had dinner. I had a glass of wine, and I blacked out. I woke up throwing up in the toilet. He was standing over me, pulling my hair out of my face. Mm-hmm. I was wearing a T-shirt that wasn't mine. He was in a robe. I think the final time I was assaulted was in Atlantic City. He took me there for a show, got me very drunk. Later, the hotel lost my luggage. I was on the phone with the concierge, and Bill had a fit that I was on the telephone and went ballistic. The next morning, he summoned me to his room and started berating me and calling me names, telling me I had embarrassed him. He threw me under the bed and blocked me with his elbow and got on top of me and started taking my pants off. I was screaming and crying and begging to leave the room. Leave me alone, I shouted. And I fought really hard, and I screamed so loud that he got mad and threw me aside and got away from me. And that was it. He ditched me, dropped me like a hot potato. My agent dumped me also. I was thrown out of my housing. They pulled the plug on me. So she was banging him, and he was giving her stuff.
Yeah.
This one right here. So that's a tough one right there. That's a tough one, too.
Yeah, but they're all... the main thing is that they keep talking about, he's drugging them, so that seems to be the one consistent part of the story. And then we talked about that yesterday about, what with these guys that they want to have sex with women that are knocked out? What is that about? Garrett.
Is that in the, in the gay world, are men so willing that they don't do the knockout drug?
No, God. Yeah. First of all, when you have a date with a guy, the first date, there's always sex on the first date.
Really?
Yes, of course. You're a guy.
Hey, Garrett.
Doesn't matter.
Garrett, for guys. That's right.
But that doesn't.
That's right.
Really?
That's just the way it is. So if it doesn't work, boom,
Garrett,
nice.
if I took you out, I'd bone you on the first date.
I'd hope so.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you're guy.
I would. You know what, Garrett? I would pin you down with my elbow and make you masturbate me, Garrett. I'd pin you with my elbow.
As long as
But you're bigger than I am.
Nobody ever wants to get to know each other?
No.
You're bigger than I am, so you would pretend you were fighting back. You pretend you're fighting back. You know what we're doing? We're having cross conversations. Like at a dinner table when two people are talking about, and we're talking, yeah. I mean, so it doesn't have to happen in the gay world, but yeah, they're, and you know, this is an epidemic of this stuff. Now, there are a lot of,
I have to really tell my daughter about these, Christina, you need to talk to her about, you know, always have your drink with you, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. I'll give her every lesson in the book.
Because they drop those pills in your drink and you're knocked out. Bill Cosby is on top of you, but you can't even see.
Well, if it's a really crowded
How
bar,
terrifying that is to think about right now, like Bill Cosby in the state that he's in right now, on top of you while you're all drugged up.
I can't. I used to feel imitated. I can't do it anymore.
Oh,
yeah.
If that old
so
man
years and years ago,
taking Kodak pictures of you.
Yeah, covering you with Jell-O chocolate pudding.
Don't say that. That makes it sound good.
Licking it off you.
Looking for those forever on eBay. They don't exist.
Now, Christina, do you ever have sex with food involved, whipped cream or pudding?
I never have.
Really?
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to it, but I never have.
Yeah. What would happen if a guy walked in?
This is what you said. You went. What? This is what you just did. You never had sex with food? And she goes, no. And then you went, yeah. You just went, yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of food would you want on your
it's me. It's me, Mobster Lobster, see? It's me, Mobster Lobster,
I rub some butter on that, you see?
Yeah, listen here, yo.
I have used butter, though.
Really?
I have
wait
used
a minute.
butter, yes.
So, Christina, let's say you and I were dating, and I walked in with my penis on a piece of cheese pizza. That'd be great for you, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, sure, of course. Anything on pizza is good.
All right, let's go around the horn.
Okay, let me just one question.
Let's go around the horn.
I feel like I'd want it to be sweet, though. Whatever's on your penis, sweet.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know what?
We can do
I'm in New Orleans.
later.
It'd be one of those beignets. It's a puff pastry with powdered sugar on it. Let's go around the horn. The clue here is third and long, Garrett, is the clue. Okay? Third and long is the clue.
Third and long.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Money cannot buy the women we love everyday security, which men take for granted. So it's going to take strong, accountable men to educate the young boys and the young men of the world and influence other men to deal with women respectfully, honorably, and fairly at all times. Who said this, Christina?
Bill Cosby.
Bill Cosby's your guess. All right. Kevin Meaney, who said this great thing about women?
Well, it's interesting because I remember this clearly during our divorce proceedings. My wife had made that statement.
Yeah. Your wife said it.
Yeah,
your wife said
my
it.
wife,
all
right
right
before we were divorced, she had said that.
All right. Garrett, who said it?
Third and long is the clue.
Third and long is the clue.
I'm going to go with some lady named Mary for Hail Mary.
Oh.
This is from the great New Orleans Saints defensive back, Darren Sharper.
How would I have ever known this?
And this is from his book.
Yeah, from yesterday.
No. He's accused by 11, at least 7 to 11 women.
Well, at least he's not accused by 13 like Cosby.
That's not. I don't know if that's true either. That's all alleged.
All alleged. Yes. Yeah. Make that perfectly clear.
This is from his book. He wrote some sort of, inspirational book. And he lamented how undervalued and exploited women were, saying that as a father, he felt compelled to speak up. And he is against violence against women. Well, he never hit them. He knocked them out before he did anything to them. Christina, one of the things about the Darren Sharper case is that the women would wake up and say even though they weren't in bed with him, they felt funny. So would it feel weird down there? Would it feel weird?
You could definitely feel if you've had sex, yeah, or if you've
really?
been penetrated.
Oh, you can?
Oh, sure.
Oh, you can?
I would imagine. I can. I know, the next day, walking a little
Etiam si omnes ego non. That's what I've always said.
That's why I always give Kate one of those morning after pills.
Mm-hmm. Every day.
Every day. Take your morning after pill.
Etiam si omnes ego non. That's from the Latin. Even if all the others do it, I will not.
Wow.
Okay. That goes along with Il Felidante.
Is that on the back of the currency?
Galabante. No, that's on actually the back of a rubber. Brand new condoms that just came out.
Oh, that's great. I like that.
By the way, I'm listening to a local super hot radio station here in New Orleans, which plays all the local music. And a woman starts talking about the women of Russia, and she says "Pussy Riot."
Right.
And the announcer guy, and this is like a really like hip station, and it's kind of like anything goes. He told her on the air that she couldn't say that.
Yeah.
And they laughed about it and stuff. But I was listening to NPR. I was listening to CBS. I think on Fox.
Yeah.
They're all saying Pussy Riot.
Well, Pussy Riot right? is this band that was locked up in Russia, and now they were just beaten over in Sochi.
They're what?
They were beaten. They were beaten up by the
I can't
police.
stand them.
It was a real pussy riot.
I am so glad they went to jail. I can't even tell you.
Yeah, that's not my kind of music, but
no.
They should. I don't think they're certainly getting a lot of press. That it's something I wouldn't listen to, but
no.
Why are they being beaten? Just because they play shitty music? Come on.
Yeah,
Is this Pussy Riot?
Pussy Riot? Yeah, they were put in jail for demonstrating or something.
Very punkish. Yeah. Maybe if I was out in Mali or something, All right. Well, sounds like they hate men.
This song's called Putin Lights Up the Fires.
Okay. Well, it's,
put them in the jails. I do no voices really well.
I don't either.
By the way,
I don't either.
Speaking of vaginas, we will have a guest on in just a little while.
Oh, I can't wait.
Kim and Ami will be here. Kim and Ami, that actually sounds like the
Christina Wong.
No, it sounds like the name of vagina in some language. I like my wet Kim and Ami.
So she's not Asian, is she?
No.
10 reasons to lift weights with your vagina.
I'm so excited. Finally, I guess.
And the comedian Tom Green.
Oh,
Tom Green will be with us.
One of your
Tom's
favorites.
been here before. Tom and I get along okay. I like him. Wasn't he a little slow didn't I complain he was a little slow?
I love Tom Green. He is
I
one
like
of my
him when he's
favorite
performing.
talk show hosts ever. I mean, he's just...
right.
Have you seen his new show on Access?
No, I have not.
A live talk show, and he just does one guest for an hour.
Wow,
It's
cool.
kind of
Right.
old school,
That's what he did last time. It was
That's why I'm having him on,
good.
Garrett. Hint, hint.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, can you...
Hint.
Can you line up with Sandra Bernhardt, though?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think I can.
No comparison.
I think I can. Hey, Garrett, both of us have eaten pussy. How's that sound? Okay.
Wow,
Hello?
I have to go there.
Well, she goes there.
If you said that to her, I wonder if she would laugh or just roll her eyes and be like, shut up. Heard it before.
She'd probably beat the shit out of Jay. That's what she'd do.
She's capable.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
You know what? Sandra and I have known each other forever and ever, and we get along really well.
She's a great
And
lady.
try and get her on the show. She's always fun, and I've always liked her. And she never did rub me the wrong way. And, and Rosie's very sweet, too. But there are a group of lesbian performers that it's obvious they don't like men, and I've said this before. Same thing if it was, a guy that didn't like me or whatever.
Yeah.
But Sandra I've always thought was funny. Let's go to Johnny, who's in Texas. Yes, Johnny, it's Jay Thomas. How are you? Hey, man, how are you?
Good.
By the way, Johnny, I got to ask you a question. Are you interested in the guy that's he's running? Ted Nugent is his big backer. This guy's name is Greg Abbott. He's the Attorney General, and he's running for governor. And everywhere he goes, he has Ted Nugent with him. Are you following this guy in Texas? Are you from Texas?
Yes, I'm from Texas. Yeah, he's the guy that took away all my child support to pay for my kids. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, Jay, suck your own dick.
All right, wait a minute.
What was that?
That was it? That was it?
Did he say suck your own dick?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's from...
He was clever.
That's from Christina Wong.
Oh, okay.
So, Ted Nugent has been questioned, in the past by the Secret Service.
Subhuman mongrel. That's
right. A communist-nurtured subhuman mongrel is our president.
Yeah.
And he also said at a NRA annual meeting that if the president were reelected, I will either be dead, he said, or in jail by this time next year. They took that as a threat. Also, illegal immigrants, in an unauthorized entry, armed like they are right now and invading our country, I think we ought to shoot them all dead.
Do you guys know what's different about Greg Abbott?
No, what is it?
He's running for governor in Texas?
No, there's a physical difference between him and most people.
Oh.
A physical difference?
He's got a bad hand?
Like webbed fingers?
Webbed feet?
Abbott became
he has one leg?
Paraplegic.
Unibrow. Oh.
Ooh.
When an oak tree fell on him after he was running after a storm in 1984.
Wow.
He had 2 steel rods implanted in his spine. Oh. He sued the homeowner and won $10 million.
Oh, my God.
How could he sue the homeowner for a tree that fell?
I guess after the storm,
he's in a wheelchair for the rest of his life.
They didn't clean up the tree, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Take care of it.
Maybe John Edwards was his lawyer.
Ted Nugent went to Rick Perry's inaugural ball wearing a Confederate T-shirt, Confederate flag T-shirt.
I was on the air with Ted Nugent 10, 15 years ago up in Rochester, and we got
a
huge fight. Huge. And I have it somewhere on tape. I should bring it in. It's great.
Well, the weird thing about him is that as a person, whether likes guns or not, he's no fun. He's not a fun, interesting fun guy.
What's great about him is that he's a great guest. Okay? Because he gets people riled up. So whether you agree with him or you don't agree with him, people are going to listen to him because of, he's going to say something bombastic and it's going to, everybody's going to be talking about what Ted Nugent said, So he's definitely.
But it's also very racist.
Oh, of course it is.
But
we're talking about it, aren't we?
Yeah.
And they were talking about it all on the, the morning programs. They had it on today about what Ted Nugent said and the mongrel line, and people are talking about it on Facebook and,
Well, our president is a bit of a mongrel. Nothing wrong with that. He's a bit of a mixed. I had a terrible line when he was running. I said apparently his mother would sleep with whoever came into the rec center there in Honolulu. That's what they said. She would hang out at the rec center in Honolulu helping out, and she dated every guy of every nationality.
How do you know that?
Because it was written about. And that's fine. But he was raised by a real hippie who eventually, dropped her kids off with her parents and then took off. We know a lot of people like that. We know a lot of, our contemporaries whose parents dropped them off. Yeah. And it's usually not cool. You know what I mean? Barack Obama's lucky he is as kind of seemingly stable as he is. But I'm not so sure his mom was Mother of the Year, Let's go to Art.
Very honest about that too,
Well, Bill Clinton was too. His stepdad beat the crap out of his mother.
Yes.
Art of Oklahoma City. Go ahead, Art of OK. Go ahead.
I ain't going
Go ahead.
So I can listen to you, man. I want to tell you something. Hey,
what?
You know what you call those police over there that arrested those pussy rot
Ready?
fans?
We're ready.
Vigilantes.
Very good.
Have a good day.
All right.
Vigilante.
Let's go to hold it. Let's go to Duke on line 3. I'd love to have a name like that. I'd like to have a name like that.
Howdy, Duke.
Hey, what's your name? My name is Duke.
Hi, Duke.
I'm Duke Thomas. Duke, who gave you that name? I had a dachshund named Duke. So, who gave you that name?
Yeah, my parents did. They named me after a dog.
Name me after a dog.
You have a brother Rex and a sister Fluffy. Yeah, and they named you Duke, and then Rex and Fluffy, your brother and sister. That's cool. Well, Duke, what can we do for you?
Yeah, I was wondering where I get me a jar of them pills that Bill Cosby has.
Would you really like to give a woman a pill and have her pass out and then you climb?
I got a late Valentine's gift from my wife there, and about the only way I could get things to work well is I had a couple of pills.
That's how I actually got my wife pregnant. I gave her a roofie.
When's the last time you and your wife had sex?
Oh, God, I couldn't really tell you. Probably days.
Oh, the other day. Okay.
Yeah, the other day.
I know you're lying, but
Valentine's present I wanted to give her.
Oh, I see. You want to knock her out and have her wake up on top of you, or have you wake up on top of her?
I would love that.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. I don't know. You know what, Garrett? Where do you buy those knockout pills? Where do you get those?
No.
What are they? What do you call them? What do you?
Hypnol, right?
I don't know.
I don't know. Doc,
don't you buy Duke? Hey, Duke, you got to know. Somebody's buying drugs in your town. Somebody.
Have that little NyQuil. The green champagne.
But what kind of pills are they? I mean, what are they? You can't get roofies anymore. What are they?
Well, they're like
a lot of people
or something. Or they're
they're not. No, Ambien. Oh no,
Ambien. That's it.
Ambien puts them to sleep. Yeah,
and then if you take,
you can just call Madison. She's got a supply of those.
Of Ambien.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's so her husband doesn't do anything to her.
She wrote something really funny, a blog online about how she fell asleep masturbating because she took an Ambien pill.
All right, Duke. Thank you very much. Let's go to David, who is in Iowa. Yes, David. Go ahead. David of Iowa.
Left in there?
I love her.
A few years ago, Jay, I went to see Ted Nugent in concert,
Mm-hmm.
And but before the show, it was in a small college town that he called into the radio station that was putting it on. And this nerdy program guy, he gets on the phone with him. And Ted Nugent, every other word is, we're going to, blow the fucking roof off this place, and fuck this, and fuck that.
Yeah.
And then the programmer was beside himself, but he couldn't stop him,
Yeah.
And so he got him trying to talk about hunting to take his, so he wouldn't swear, but it didn't help. He just kept on, And so finally the guy goes, "Oh, it sounds like you feel about hunting the way I feel about fishing." And Ted Nugent goes, "You goddamn right."
All right.
I'm gonna
Asshole radio, sir. Yeah, go suck your own dick right now.
Yeah.
In Jackson, Mississippi, an adult entertainer has been sentenced to 7 years in prison for helping set up an illegal silicone buttocks injection that killed an Atlanta woman.
What is
now all she did, she introduced this poor woman who wanted her butt bigger to someone that she thought was a nurse and knew how to do it. She's going to get 7 years. She has a bad lawyer.
Yeah.
Natasha Stewart, convicted of manslaughter. Wow.
She killed somebody because people died?
No, the woman died.
The woman died.
Karima Gordon.
Karima?
Was the one, Karima, and Natasha Stewart. She goes by the professional name.
Are you sure it's not Cremora?
No, wait a minute. Get your pens out.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Get your writing utensils out.
Yes.
When she's dancing, Ms. Stewart, Natasha Stewart's dancing name in Atlanta is Pebbelz.
Okay, Pebbles.
Capital D-A, capital M-O-D-E-L. Pebbles the model. That's her. If you're in Atlanta, you've seen Pebbles the model dance. Give us a call, please. at Indy.
Her butt is huge.
You mean?
She's going to be...
How did they lay her out then?
Oh, hey, Garrett.
They put her on her stomach?
How did they lay her out?
Yeah.
Hey, Garrett. It's like that TV show. My ass is the new black and blue, or whatever that is. Orange is the new black, or whatever. They're going to be working her over. 7 years in prison.
You can eat a bowl of cereal off of that.
Pebbles the model.
But, it's sad because the other woman just wanted to have her buttocks improved, and the person killed her.
Squat it out.
No, she's got stuff in her butt.
No, I know, but before you put the stuff in your butt, you should try squats first.
What does that do for you?
No, she wants it.
Makes you
yeah, but no, she wants it huge.
Cocoa tea. She's got
What about Shady?
a remarkable ass, and she does all these exercises to make sure that happens.
I don't normally do stories from overseas, but I think this one might be true. And there are Nigerian restaurants. We have them here in New Orleans. They're in Los Angeles. They have them in New York and most major cities. They found that in Nigeria, they are actually serving human meat in certain restaurants. And during a raid, they found 2 human heads.
This is why I don't eat meat, okay?
In cellophane.
Oh.
I know. And, that's, the cops were tipped off that there was a cannibal menu that
And this was in Nigeria?
Yeah. They found 2 cellophane human heads, AK-47s, 2 army caps, and a bunch of cell phones. They think maybe the heads belonged to 2 soldiers that they killed and took their heads off, and they'd been selling the soldiers' bodies in the restaurant.
Wow.
Really weird. And
well, we had that cop here in New York that was going to chop up his wife, and they had all these, and it was on trial. And this was last year. He was convicted.
11 people connected with the restaurant have been questioned, and they said that head meat was the best meat to eat of a human. The other one was butt meat. Those are the 2 most delicious meats.
So the breast or the thigh are not?
I'll have the butt meat.
Not of a human. No, not of a human.
I'd like the butt meat.
Wow.
Thank you.
What do you eat? The cheek?
I'll take the cheek.
Now, a buddy of mine and I were in a restaurant.
I'll take the
of course.
We were in a restaurant in Koreatown. This is the guy that produced my show and was the PR director of the radio station and all. And he came back and he was white as a sheet after going to the bathroom. And he said, "I'll tell you later what happened."
Oh my God.
And he claims that he went in the back and he was looking for the bathroom and he opened the door and there was a live monkey in the middle of a table and its head was clamped. I know. And the brain was exposed. And the monkey was, half dead but still kicking.
Yeah.
And he said Korean guys had chopsticks and they were eating out of the monkey's live brain.
Oh my God.
I know.
Now, my father, God rest his soul, he was the best.
Did he eat monkey brain? Your dad?
All the time. He'd always bring, he would say he would never, ever eat Chinese food because he was a fireman and we'd have to go to, inspect all these Chinese restaurants for fire violations. And he said that they all serve cats.
No, they don't.
That's what he said. That's what he said. He said that. That's what he said.
That's an old joke.
The only thing that I eat, and now I don't eat that anymore.
Well, that's like my friend TK. His dad was a ice cream delivery man to all the grocery stores in Seattle, Washington. And I said, "You're kidding." Now, he doesn't eat any desserts, never eats dessert. And I said, "Oh, is that why you don't eat, ice cream and stuff?" He goes, "No, we never ate ice cream." I said, "But your dad was a delivery man for the ice cream company." He said he told us that they had, rat feces and rat hair in the ice cream, and we could never eat it.
Every food is that, though.
Well, apparently he thought there was quite a bit of it.
Oh, Jesus.
Quite a bit of it.
Yeah.
Wouldn't let him eat it. Let's go to Greg, who's in Westchester. He has more on the Nigerian meat story. Greg, welcome to the Jay Thomas Show. Please give us more info on the Nigerian meat story, Greg.
I was going to say they actually have a website up in the New York City greater metropolitan area. It's called blackpeoplemeat.com.
All right, get rid of him. Get rid of him. Why do I think we're...
I really
why do I think...
Beautiful setup, Jay. That was just a beautiful setup, yeah.
Well, you know what? I, for 1 second, thought maybe.
You trust too easily.
I know. Let's go to Ty, who is in Phoenix, Arizona. Yes, Ty, go ahead.
Ty Sticks.
Hey, I'm driving in my truck, but hey, they busted a Chinese place out here. They found cats in the freezer, but they said it was the employees were eating the cats because they're all like Vietnamese. They weren't actually serving it, but there were no neighborhood cats in the whole neighborhood.
Yeah.
A bunch of the freezer.
When I was in Hong Kong last year, we took a tour. And the tour guide said, he had the Chinese accent, and they all had like an American name. Hello, my name Henry, and we love old cats. We eat old cat, and we eat.
No, he didn't
yes,
say
he said
that.
This was on the tour, and all of us on the bus were like, "What?" And he goes, "We like young dog and old cat."
No, he didn't say that.
Why would I make that
What
up?
are you saying? Yeah, Garrett.
Why would I make it up?
I've heard stories of people like they've gone over to Korea with their girlfriend and they see like a puppy farm and the girl would go and fall in love with the puppy and say, I want that one. The guy would pick it up, break its neck, and give it to the girl. It was just for eating.
Oh, jeez.
And then this girl is holding her cute puppy that's dead in her.
Now, this is in Korea, Kevin, or you were saying in the United States?
This was in Hong Kong last year when I was doing that show for John Hancock Insurance.
You took a tour where the man admitted that they ate young dog
and you can look it up on the internet. That they do. This is part of their diet. This isn't a big secret or anything. This is but it certainly shocks you when you're on the bus and they're giving the tour and.
Well, they think we're horrible for eating cows in India. Yeah. They
That's why I don't eat any meat. You don't need it.
All right, Ty. Thank you very much.
Have an egg.
And finally,
the best thing out there, all you guys. We love you.
Well, wonderful. Let's end this segment with Bill Cosby on line one. Alleged Bill Cosby. Okay. Yes, Bill.
What goes with cat?
What goes with what?
Cat.
Cat?
Cat or cop?
Pudding.
Gotta get rid of him.
What did he say?
What?
What's the matter with your eye?
I can't understand.
I can't
It's the reason why all I know is I don't know.
Get rid of him. Good God. That's overmodulated, Cosby. Let's go to Kirk, who's in South Carolina. Yes, Kirk, go ahead. What do you know about cats in Chinese restaurants? Certainly not in this country.
In Columbia, South Carolina, many years ago, probably about 15 years ago, they busted a Chinese restaurant for serving cats.
See, Christina?
No.
Well, that's ruined now.
Yeah. So just have the vegetable plate.
Well, I'll tell you what I would.
No, but one time
I
had a vegetable plate, and there was this little green creature on it, and it looked alive, but it wasn't. It was just glazed with their brown sauce, and it had little, antenna thingies. That happened. I saw that.
You ate bugs last week?
Years ago, my girlfriend, was into not just, it wasn't just vegetarian. We went to this restaurant, this is the one I had to go to the EST meeting with.
This was the whole food. She was like the raw foodie.
Super raw.
Yeah.
And we go to this restaurant and, it's got the wooden benches and all that. And here come these salads and all this raw food. So I start eating the salad and there is a bug in my salad and the thing is moving around. It's not dead. So I call the waiter over and, she's giggling and stuff and we're laughing. I go, excuse me. I go, there's a brown bug. And he looks and he goes,
yeah.
Well, we don't use any greens that have been sprayed with any, with any,
They can
poison.
wash it.
I know. And do you know that the guy begrudgingly took the salad back?
Yeah.
To the, Yeah, I don't get that.
Yeah.
I don't get
no,
that.
you
I don't
wash
want
the
to see anything
salad. That's
crawling.
what you do. You don't need the bugs.
Garrett, I was trying to get laid, not get healthy. You know what I'm saying? I was doing whatever she wanted.
Gotcha.
So, let's go to Shawnee of Boston.
Hey,
and this is
Shawnee.
what happens when you eat too much cat meat at Chinese restaurants. Shawnee, go ahead.
Yeah, he did. When I was like 19, was trying to rent. You know the movie Feast of Death.
Yeah.
I was trying to rent that, but the lady wouldn't let me. She knew my mom and was all upset with me. But I ended up renting Shocking Asia is no other weird thing. And in a scene in that, these two fucking asshole dudes, like they take a cat and they like stick a pole down its neck, and then they like roast it over a fire and eat the thing. It's ridiculous.
All right. Well, that was exciting. Do you also do Bill Cosby? Do you do Bill Cosby, Shawnee?
Hey, this Bill Cosby. No.
No, you don't. All right. It's the Jay Thomas Show. Later on, 10 reasons why you should lift weights with your vagina. And we've just been here a little while, and we're not going anywhere. Stay where you are.
Jay Thomas. Jay.
Yeah, little thing, medically they call pussyitis.
Jay Thomas. In Indy. Sirius XM 104.
I don't know if, Johnny Carson did this, and also who's the great black comic that sold his clothing?
George
he does
Wallace?
quiz show. No, not George. Does
Steve
the quiz
Harvey?
show? Yeah, Steve Harvey sells clothes. Ryan Seacrest is putting out his new clothing line, including 3-piece suits.
All right, I like his suits.
Well, do you like
No,
his
he just said he's got too many jobs. Stop it.
his tie bar? Do you like that?
I do like his suits, unlike the J. Thomas Armani suit that's really baggy and from like the 1980s, okay?
It's not
classic.
baggy. It's classic.
It is. No, it's not
a classic.
And I'm sorry I brought it up again, but I'd like to see you in a
you'll
Ryan
be happy to know
Seacrest
now
suit.
that I can't wear any of my clothes.
Well, thank
'cause
God,
I've lost so much
they're
weight.
all from the 80s, okay? Get a new wardrobe.
I did. I spent $300 or $400 the other day.
Very good.
Got
Get
4
a Ryan
t-shirts and 2
Seacrest
pair
suit.
of pants.
Like that real tight suit, you're going to look hot. You are.
You know, Ryan Seacrest.
I'm telling you.
Let me ask you.
One man to another.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
Do you think he's in the closet?
Absolutely.
He's getting married. He's engaged or something.
I
with
was
a
married
pretzel in
too.
his
He
mouth.
was just not that long ago was with Dancing with the Stars.
By the way, for the next however long we live, I'm going to ask Kevin who's in the closet. Okay, that's what it is.
I saw Seacrest last night on the Olympics interviewing someone.
Of course.
Of course he was
So
there.
He is friggin' huge.
Yeah. So he does the Channel 7 New Year's,
Yeah.
the Olympics on NBC, and
Yes.
then American Idol on
He can
Fox.
do whatever
and then
he
And
wants.
he's
CW
the producer
show?
of the E! Network, and he does a radio show, and
How is
Yeah.
he not tied down to one company, or like how does Fox not say now we're not going to have you
he
on?
never has
I don't
to
know.
sign
I don't know.
one of those
Exclusive,
agreements.
He's
yeah.
so big.
He probably has a deal, a non-exclusive deal, except during the times of those shows. He can't go on against himself.
It's
You know?
almost impossible for all the things that he's on.
Is that going to continue American Idol? Is that? Oh, Harry Connick is on it now, isn't he? He's one of the judges.
The ratings
I heard
are bad.
It's so much better though.
Yeah, I hear it's better.
Well,
than
the
Harry
ratings,
Connick, yeah.
the ratings are terrible. But anyway, let's go to Alex, who's in New York. Yes, Alex of New York. Go ahead.
Hey, Jay Thomas, love your show.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Hey, I just got to say, I'm a personal chef. Used to go overseas. Went to Korea a couple times for some continuous training.
Right.
And, yeah, they definitely eat dogs and cats over there. So.
Now, it's old cat, right?
Yes, it's mainly they go for about 12 years and up.
Yeah, and then the
stop it.
Yeah, I'm not kidding you.
That's bullshit.
And then
the dogs are puppies.
The puppies there, the dogs are puppies.
The puppies, they really don't touch after 2 years old.
Mm-hmm. CJ, I'm not
Well,
making it up.
Hear this.
Alex, if you really are a chef, now are you a hunter also? Do you hunt or fish?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, and I've hunted and fished my entire life. Like one day, I caught a grouper it took me an hour to get it in. The grouper weighed about 65, 70 pounds, and I was so excited. And meanwhile,
is
my
that a saltwater fish, or is that?
It's a brackish water fish.
Okay, thank you.
And I bring this giant grouper up. As I'm pulling it up, all the guys in the boat said, we can't keep it. We're not keeping it. And I said, why not? He says, first of all, it's going to taste like shit. It's going to be filled with worms, and it's it mates with females and stuff. And so it was fighting me, but it was heavy. And we throw away, we have to have a 27-inch, the fish has to be 27 inches long or whatever the law is that week. Mm-hmm. But usually the older animals are not, even beef. You don't want to eat an older cow. You know that? Alex, that just goes against everything I've ever been taught when it comes to eating meat. Yeah. Tell me why. Well, why would a 12-year-old cat taste good? They're skinny.
No, they're fat.
They are fat. They are really fat, and they also marinate the meat for about 24 hours in rice wine vinegar and other acidics. So it really flavors the meat up.
Tenderized meat.
All right. Are you still a private chef now? Are you cooking for somebody rich?
Sir. Yes, sir.
Well, don't tell us their name, but what town? In New York City, upstate New York? Where do you work?
Well, I'm based out of New York. I travel down to Carolinas and the Key West.
Oh,
wow!
It must be a gay couple.
No, not a gay couple.
So I've traveled with people, very wealthy people, who have the private chef. You go down in their private plane, or you fly down in a commercial?
Yes, they put me up. I fly in their private jets, and then they also have a home attached to their house up in North Carolina, outside of Raleigh, and I have a home attached to their place out in Key West.
Wow!
Is it John Edwards?
No.
I'm just taking a guess.
He's not going to answer. But I've been around people with private chefs. It's a hell of a deal. But do you ever worry that there's a sameness there? After many, many years, do you ever worry there's a sameness to the food, or is their palate so used to what you cook that it's becoming easier?
Well, the company that I work for, like I mentioned earlier, they put us on trips overseas. So we're continuously, about a month out of the year, we are traveling overseas. And
you're training?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Continuous training.
Oh, okay. Great. And then you come back. Now, when you're gone for the month, what does the rich couple do? How do they eat?
No, they actually replaced me with another chef in the company.
Do they I wouldn't want a new chef to come in.
You wouldn't want a new host to come in while you go on vacation?
I had a personal, we had a personal chef. Her name was Corey, and she worked for us for years. She was about 5'11", and she started working for us at about 19 years old. She was great, and she was so incredibly fine that when I would come home from a long...
What did you need a personal chef for?
I had more fucking money than I knew what to do.
You like to cook?
Yes.
It's just like ridiculous.
We had nannies. Yeah. We had personal cooks, chefs, and we were home all the time. Okay. I came home from a long trip, and kids were at school. My wife was gone. Corey was bending over in short shorts with her midriff showing, making something, and I left the house and sat out in the yard until my wife came home. My wife comes home and she said,
"What idea you've ever had?"
She said, "What are you doing out here?" I said, "I'm going to tell you what I'm doing. If I stay another 5 minutes in that kitchen, I am fucking that cook, okay? So I'm out here." She stuck her ass in my face. She was one of these ones that didn't realize how fine she was. Who knows? I don't know. Yeah. But and then my son and I, we met a couple of private chefs, and we went visiting wealthy people, and we would hang out in the kitchen with them. Yeah. And my son and I are good cooks. Well, we love that. Well, okay, well that's exciting. That's exciting. Do you make six figures in this job?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Ooh, wow.
After the first 5 years, they bought me a car. So.
Wow. But then if they can you don't have those houses. You're done, right?
No, correct. But I got a nice home in upstate New York near Lake Ontario, and
Wow.
so.
Well, you know what? Out of all the listeners I've ever spoken to, you're the only one I'd maybe like to hang with. Yeah.
Thank you, Tommy. Take care.
All right, bye-bye. Yeah. Let's go to Dan of Philadelphia.
Yeah, me too.
Hey, Dan, how are you?
He didn't say that.
Hey, guys, what's happening?
Yeah, you know what, Christina? Can you imagine being married to a personal chef?
No, I couldn't. I'd be
Unbelievable.
as big as a freaking house.
You know why? They make eggs and toast and juice, and it's like
They put
a
their
restaurant.
penis on it and forget it.
No,
Yeah,
they don't.
well, I make egg. Egg cookery is. I do. I am like one of the best egg chefs out there.
Really?
And I know how to make eggs.
Can I talk to Dan in Philadelphia about cat meat, please?
Yes.
Yes, Dan, go ahead.
Yeah, when I was growing up, we had a strip mall right by me, and it was a barber shop, a Chinese restaurant, and a liquor store. We used to hang out back at a liquor store trying to find runners to go in for it, but, you know, we were underage.
Right.
And we're out there one night, and I don't know what you guys remember, but malls used to have pet shops in them all the time.
Yes, absolutely.
Chain store, pet shop.
Yep.
So we're out back at the Chinese food restaurant waiting to get a runner to go in. We find almost 20 boxes, all Doctor's Pet Shop boxes. You know, you could tell they were for pets. They had holes in the top, the handles, the whole bit. And you always wondered what these pet shops did with the animals that they didn't sell. Well,
I hate
you found
this
their
show
answer
today.
that night.
I hate this show today.
They would get rid of them over at the Chinese restaurant in Philadelphia. Thank you. All right.
Ruin my day, why don't you?
Hey, Garrett. Over at Beagle Walk. Delicious Beagle Walk. All right. Stay where you are. Get your vaginas ready for exercise on the Jay Thomas Show.
There you go. I love the Jay Thomas Show.
We're so lonely and bored here.
The Jay Thomas Show.
Jay.
Afternoon.
On Indy.
Sirius XM 104.
10 reasons to lift weights with your vagina. Number 1. Kegels don't work. Think of it like your bicep. You don't work out your arms just by flexing your muscles. You need weight. The vagina works the same way. It needs weight to create resistance in order to build strength. Number 2. Orgasm like never before. Studies have shown that a strong pelvic floor has been directly related to the intensity and frequency of a woman's orgasm. Okay, maybe not that powerful. Number 3. The current record for vaginal weightlifting is held by Tatiana Koznikova, lifting 31 pounds. With your newly acquired skill, you'll be in the running for the Guinness World Record. Number 4. Having a strong pelvic floor doesn't just benefit you, ladies. Your man will have much stronger orgasms. With the newfound strength in your vaginal muscles, you will be able to please your man like never before. Number 5. Be the life of the party. Thought the ping pong trick only happens in Thailand? Think again.
Bounce back. That's a trick shot.
Don't worry, I got this. What's wrong? Need another beer?
Number 6. Learn to bring your man to the finish line using only your pelvic muscles. The power is now in your hands. Vagina. Number 7. No need to send your man to the doghouse when he's been bad. With your new secret weapon, he's sure to be a good boy. Number 8. You never know when your ultra-strong vagina will come in handy. One day you may find yourself in a position of life or death.
Here, grab onto this.
Oh, God. Holy shit. Number 9. Increase your libido. When your vagina is weak, it feels numb. Sex is 10,000 times more pleasurable with a sensitive and articulate vagina. Watch your back, boys. And finally, you will never have to ask your man to open that pesky pickle jar again.
Do you need help with that?
Want to learn how to turbocharge your vagina? Visit kungfuvagina.com to learn more.
Now, is this for real, you think, Garrett, or is it just a way for this woman to get people to come to some, semi-porn site?
Oh, no, it's real. She has these things, the jade stones, I believe, that you...
I'm not going to have anyone on here trying to trick me. It's happened before. I was only tricked one time.
She has over 500,000 hits on that.
Really?
On her little YouTube.
I bet she's been hit on 500,000 times, too, in real life.
I bet her vagina's hit a couple of people, too.
But I bet her vagina has saved people, though. She has saved people with her vag.
I would like to walk in.
My vagina needs it.
When I get back home, I'd like to walk in and see a barbell sticking out of my wife's pussy. That's what I'd like.
Pussy
a 5-pounder.
There'll be a pussy
KimAnami.com, ANAMI. Kim, welcome to the show. The video is terrific. Your voice is exciting. The first question I want to ask is, when you were a little girl, were you one of the little girls that just, and it happens to people. I was the same way as a little boy. You just couldn't keep your hands off that thing down there. Was that you?
Well, let's just say that I had a very strong awareness of my sexual energy from an early age, as I think that most people do, and most people just get it conditioned out of them, right? So
that's not true. No, that's not true. No, I'm telling you that I would say that to a lot of women, and there's some women that are like that, but there are women, and I know you believe it, and I believed it too. It is not true of all women. It is not.
Meaning what's not true of all women?
That they were not really all that interested in it, and that they had sex when they had sex, and it was fun for them or whatever, but they weren't as interested as you were, or perhaps I would have been had I had a vagina and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the conditioning happens really young, though, right? It happens in our families, it happens culturally, and so those natural feelings and desires can get shut down very early. So people can think they're not sexual. They can grow up thinking they're not sexual people, and that sex is just, some people are into it and some people aren't. But I think when you uncover the layers, and that's what my experience has been as a sex coach, that you see that if you can get underneath the conditioning, underneath the blocks that people have inherited, that you see that everybody has a ravenous libido.
Now, before I go into the interview of the 10 reasons to lift weights with your vagina and talk to you about you even have an orgasm camp, I believe, where people come and learn how to, orgasm and stuff. Let's say I'm much younger and I meet someone like you and I fall for you. I have to deal with the fact that you are just so sexually aware that we'd have to have an open relationship. And that's what always frightened me about women who were sexually aware. I know that they could love you for who you are, but they would always need other people. How do you fight against that, being sexually aware?
Why do you assume that that's the case?
It is the case. I don't assume it.
Do you think that I want to have an open relationships?
You can't help yourself.
Jeez.
No, I wouldn't say that's true.
No.
I'd say that you can have the most powerful relationships where I've learned the most, even sexually technique-wise, where I've had the deepest emotional connections, have been in committed relationships. So I actually don't endorse, casual promiscuity.
I think Jay's just looking for an
reckless sexual encounters. I believe that the more conscious you are, the more emotionally connected you are, the more powerful the connection to sex is, and the more that you learn, because I think you learn best in a safe environment with your partner.
All right. Well, that's the answer I used to get too.
You're just looking for an excuse to have multiple partners.
No, I'm not. Me? No, I'm not. No. Just the opposite. You just wonder if you have this really, sexual, not a person hitting on other guys, but if you're with if you're away for a long period of time and, because sex is a physical thing. It doesn't have to be emotional, and
maybe
so
for you, but I would argue that the best sex is, and I think most mature people would argue that the best sex is a combination of emotional, mental, and physical connection. You can have.
I think the word mature is where you stop me. You stop me at mature. I still call it my pee-pee hole.
Right. I mean, I differentiate between what I call junk food.
I'm gonna put my weenie in your pee-pee hole. Yeah. All right. Well, let's get to Kevin, you knew I train wreck here. So I'm going to have Kevin Meaney take over the interview. He's a wonderful man. Kevin Meaney, I'd like you to meet Kim Anami. Kevin, for years and years, pretended he liked women and did not come out of the closet for years.
I did like women. I was confused at that.
But he was very good. I mean, his wife thought he was very good in bed, and other women thought he was very good in bed. And so he must have used many of the, the things that you're teaching. So Kevin,
I never put weights on my wife's vagina, though. So
really?
I never did that.
All right.
I want to find out from her why Kegels don't work, because I've been told by my grandmother, my mother, squeeze it together, because when you get older, you may have a bladder issue because it's not as strong as you get older, and the Kegels will help prevent you from, peeing yourself at an old age. So,
Kim, did your grandmother tell you to squeeze your vagina tightly? Can you imagine? That doesn't even sound right.
Yes,
to me.
it is right.
Well, I think that she comes from obviously a very liberated and open family, which is fantastic.
Yes, I do.
Why don't you add mature to that, Kim? Why don't you go ahead and say
I'm more mature than you are, Jay.
All right.
But so
why don't Kegels work? I had a girlfriend. It's the only time it's ever happened. My penis was in her. She activated her Kegel muscles, and it was like a little person was inside of her.
She locked you, right?
Well, no, it was like a person was inside of her.
That's how we
pulling.
make you fall in love.
No, it was unbelievable. I've never had it
Did
before.
You like it?
I never had it. I loved it, and I was stunned by it. So why do you say, Kim, that doesn't work?
Well, I guess you had a how shall I say, an amateur version of that experience. And in the professional world, it's just like the difference between if you go to a gym and you look at the weights and you ignore the weights and you just decide to like flap your arms around and flap your legs around, and then you leave the gym and think, wow, I had such a great workout. I worked really hard. And then the next guy comes into the gym and he bench presses 300 pounds and leg presses 400 pounds. And that guy leaves the gym really having done an actual workout. The other person's just deluding themselves. That's the difference between doing your Kegels and doing weight training.
Well, I beg to differ. Kegel exercise is like pussy Pilates. You don't lift any weights in Pilates. I've been doing Pilates my entire life.
It's more like your core.
Yeah, but
you're supple, you're strong. My core is very strong. We've talked about this on the air, and I'm actually kind of built like the guy who invented Pilates, and I've lifted weights too. Do you really want a muscle-bound vagina?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Do you? I'm sure you would. So the problem is that Dr. Alfred Kegel, the actual exercise that he invented involved putting a device into the vagina that would give you feedback. So when people are saying do your Kegels, they're actually not accurate.
They're not doing them correctly then.
That's exactly right.
I feel like I do them all day long.
Hey, just air guitar, play with your vagina. He said put something in your vagina and then do the exercise. That's what an actual Kegel is.
What do you actually put into your vagina? Do you hook it onto something? Do you this weight that that we see in the video that's pulling things up, and where does that hook into your vagina?
Yeah, so you put some kind of an object. What I use with the work that I do is a jade egg. So it's an egg-shaped carved piece of jade stone that's got a hole drilled into it. You insert that into the vagina where the penis would go, right? Sure.
Okay. I just want to make that clear for everybody.
Is it shaped like a penis, or is it shaped like an oval?
Shaped like an egg.
It's shaped like an egg. Okay.
So once you get that in your vagina, then you can hold that in there and that's when you're pulling stuff with it?
Exactly.
Okay.
But you're using the Kegel feeling, the contraction.
You're executing what people think of as the Kegel exercise, but the important and fundamental difference is that you have something in the vagina.
You have the jade egg in there.
So by me doing Kegels normally without any weights, and if I hold it because I thought that would help with the core, that wouldn't do anything either. It's kind of like, I feel like it's almost like when you're doing that exercise where you're like a board.
I bet you can get one of those jade eggs at Target.
Possibly. I do have a gift card.
Yes.
But you know what? That doesn't sound. Wait a minute.
That
doesn't sound like lifting weights. That doesn't sound like lifting weights. I don't get it. Do you actually lift something, or are you just putting what do you lift?
Well, you pull that man up from the rock, that we saw in the video,
really?
Or what are those things? The kettlebell? Do you hang a kettlebell onto the?
Kim, let me apologize. Kim, you don't know. I'm legally blind, and so I could hear the video, but I couldn't see it. So that's why when you know that you sent the video and everybody watched it, but since I'm sight challenged, so that's why I didn't see a weight being lifted. Okay, Kim. Is she still there?
I don't think so.
Maybe you're deaf now, too.
No. Can you hear her? I can't hear her.
No, I can't hear her. I think she's gone.
She's gone.
Did she hang up?
You guys ruin everything.
What did we do?
I wanted to get in this, and you're all being stupid.
What's stupid?
Wait a second.
What is stupid?
Wait a
I'm
second.
dying to know how
She
I can
didn't
make
hang
my
up,
vagina.
did she?
She
On
must
us?
have hung up.
No.
I'm going to
the
call
phone.
her back and see
Please.
if she's offended or.
Oh, why would she be offended? I loved her. How about hey Garrett? How about I'm legally blind?
Put the penis in. When you said you were legally blind, she hung up. That's when she hung up. She goes, "That's it. I'm done. I'm done." Oh God. You knew it. You knew it from.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No,
from the minute you got on the phone.
She knows you. You know what?
What?
She was really fun in the videos and everything else. And then, who did we have on? The woman that ate bugs last week was really fun.
Yeah.
And had a good time. And this woman isn't a good time.
What about the mountain woman? There was a logger. She was fun.
She was fun. This woman was like Christine Wong with a pussy. Because I don't think Christine Wong.
I just spit up. I did. Sorry. I just spit up.
Yeah, we lost her.
Yeah.
She's not coming
She's not even hanging. She's not even answering the phone.
Oh, come on.
You're
kidding.
It's another person that I'm going to have to apologize to.
No, you don't have to apologize, but wait
Why
a
would
minute.
you have to apologize to her?
I don't know, because they feel offended and I'm a people pleaser.
But wait a second. She has stuff in her, it says, be the life of the party. That's like, is a fun person.
I mean, out of the gate, she called you immature. I just knew it was going south from
No,
there.
but she's come on 10 reasons to lift weights with your vagina.
You can't
and
have
I
fun with
expect a funny woman, a good time.
Yeah.
Vaginal kung fu.
No, everybody doesn't have your sense of humor, I suppose.
Her sense of humor,
But
not
who
mine.
said it's a sense of humor? This is something that she practices and lives by and believes in.
Vaginal kung fu is serious.
Well, you don't have a vagina. You don't take it as seriously as we do. For
But
you,
I
it's
thought
just
that
something
was a
that you like
good
to put your
question.
thing in. For us,
Well, wait a minute.
we have to manage this whole area.
You have to get a jade egg and put it in your vagina, and then you hold it there with your Kegel exercises.
Yeah, and now I don't know more
Come on.
about it because
That's
you guys
all you
ran
need
her
to
off.
know. You
Hold
put
on
it
a
in
minute.
there and you pull things
Christina.
up.
What?
She may have hung up after I asked her about vaginal kung fu. I say, isn't that when you let Bruce Lee kick you in the cooch? Oh boy, that's a good email.
And
I wrote a whole bunch of good ones here, Gary.
You sure did. Oh, God.
And she said the Russian woman, Tatiana Kozahevnikova, whatever it is, had the unofficial world record for lifting 35 pounds with her
vagina. But I see these guys at the gym, they have the kettlebell, and you ever do any of the work?
What a
with the
bitch
kettlebell?
for hanging up.
So sad.
Christina.
What?
Email her and say, we are so sorry. We really wanted to hear from her.
Send her a picture of your vagina.
You think?
Yeah.
I mean,
text her.
I gotta shave it.
Yeah. Yeah, you better.
In a while.
Yeah, be careful.
By 22, I was practicing Tantra, studying Taoist philosophy. She is full shit, okay? Gypsying from the method acting classes and underground waves in London. Oh, yeah.
This was your only
Finally,
guest today, right?
I headed, no.
Oh, thank God.
Tom Green. I headed for the acacia groves and the coral reefs of Bali with my 2-year-old son in tow. But let me tell you who wasn't in tow, Garrett. A fucking man, okay? No fucking guy was with her.
Did you notice the voice?
Yeah, she's full of shit.
She had the Love Lines voice.
I started using the jade egg after I divorced last year.
Oh.
Get it? Get it?
So that jade egg is kind of like that's sexually stimulating to her.
Yeah, but wait a minute.
No, that's a
She and her husband
testimony from someone.
Oh, it is?
Yeah,
it's not her?
yeah.
Oh, all right.
Sorry.
I lived off the grid
I
for
can't
10
believe that
years.
she didn't even tell you to suck your own dick.
I lived off the coast of Vancouver to the wet, sultry jungles of Indonesia. She's full of shit. I gave myself a new name, Anami, Sanskrit for the unnameable one, the highest plane of God. Hold it a minute, Christina. She thinks she is fucking the unnameable one. Why don't I just change my name to Jesus, J. Christ? How about that? I'm J. Gandhi Christ. She is just full of fucking pussy warts. Oh, I meant shit.
Oh.
Pussy warts.
I hope she's listening.
I do too. But you know what I mean, Kevin? She's not having fun with this. She's fine.
I can't believe that she just hung up like that, without even saying, this is not for me, and, I'm just going to, but we didn't even hear a click.
She had a 2-minute video where a vagina opened a bottle of beer, saved some guy from dying, a jar of pickles, and then she had no sense of humor at all. So weird. She probably had nothing to do with the video.
Can you imagine going out with a girl and she opens your beer with her vagina? Are you kidding? What is it, Christina? What happened?
Nothing. I was answering the phone.
Well, call her back.
I tried to call her back. She's not answering, but you have a full line of phone calls instead.
Let's go to Chris of Virginia Beach. Now, Chris, I thought she was going to be a lot of fun, and she named herself for a god or something. Okay,
she should be fun, but God, you are not an interviewer. You are everything but.
What does that mean?
You're a good actor. You're a great MC. Great announcer.
No. I said, did you play with your pussy when you were a little girl like I played with my penis?
But you have no capability of feeling out your audience.
Really?
Soften the blow a little bit. Maybe.
You gotta feel her out first.
I've never been attracted to Asian women.
Why is everyone defending the guest? It's our show.
Thank you, Garrett. Thank you very much.
He's going to get this reputation of a woman hater.
Ooh, and then the vagina lifter girl won't come on? Who cares?
I mean, the Asians hate him, vaginas hate him, everybody's going to hate him.
We're doing the guest favors. They should put up
here's another one I was going to say. Listen, Anami, my dick weighs about 4 pounds. Could you lift it with one of your lips? Huh? Could you lift?
I'm almost happy.
You think you could? Hey, Anami, can you do a couple of tongue curls with my dick? How about that, sweetie? I didn't even get to the meat of the interview.
No, you never did.
I wanted to. Yeah.
You were passing the ball to me. You were just.
Yes, I was done. I was done.
God.
I could hear it in her voice.
Yeah. Oh, I know. You just started laughing. I was like, oh.
This is like when I would go out and meet a woman at a bar. This is it.
Yeah.
And so what do you do, Jay? Well, I'm a radio announcer. I'm an actor. And oh, really? Would I have seen you and things? I would say, yeah. Oh, and they get interested. And what do you do, Anami? Well, first of all, my real name isn't Anami. I named myself Sanskrit for the unnameable one, the highest plane of God. Really? Yes, I've just found my identity, and I've written a book called The 10 Reasons You Should Lift Weights with Your Vagina. Now, I'm supposed to kiss her ass and act like that's fucking normal to get laid, but instead I would go, you must be wild in the sack at the bar. And she's gone after that. Here's the truth. These people don't really admit who they really are.
What was she selling?
Sex. And her vagina.
A sex coach.
She's a sex coach. So,
but they want to act
coming
like
on the Jay Thomas show, she's going to get clients.
She's thinking about coming everywhere.
No,
not just here.
We asked her to come on. It's not like they're coming to us and pitching
but
themselves
she's still
to
selling
us.
Something.
We
right?
asked her.
Christina, it's true.
Skype interviews, so you.
I mean, she's promoting herself.
Oh, okay.
But we didn't.
Yeah, well, you could do the
she
Skype.
Didn't come after us.
Well, it's still good publicity for her.
Let's go to Mark in Pittsburgh. Yes, Mark, what's your complaint?
A lot of truckers.
Hey, Jay, I don't think she had a problem with the subject matter. I think she had a problem with you never asked a question. You just talked and talked and talked. And then when you stopped, Kevin would talk and talk and talk. And then you would talk and talk and talk. We never heard her voice. We did not hear any.
All right.
Yep.
Email her and say, Jay and Kevin talk too much. We apologize. and we want her back as soon as we can. Mark, you're correct. I'm going to say it. You're correct. And that we were having a lot of fun, but the phones are lighting up, and people want you to come back on. Say that to her, please.
What's her email address?
You're correct.
Okay. Well, you could look it up. Her name is...
Oh, I got it.
Kim
No, I don't
Anami.
give it out. No, wait a minute.
We don't have to give it out. People can look her up on Google.
No, you don't need to do that.
They can do that.
It's Kim, ANAMI.com, full of shit. Unnameable, full of shit. All right? How about when I said I'd like a 5-pound weight in my wife's pussy? I thought that was a good opener.
Yeah, sure, if you set up after it and let her talk.
All right, shut up, Mark.
Yeah, Mark.
Let's go to Derek of Kentucky. Yes, Derek.
I bet he's on your
Kentucky.
side, Jay.
Derek, if you came home and your wife was lifting weights with her vagina, how would you feel about that?
I would love it.
Okay.
I'd be so fucking turned on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted to
She
say
had
that was the greatest interview ever.
I knew that people from Kentucky would love
This is exactly
the
what the people upstairs were saying. Christina, you're not going to learn how to interview people when you're working with Jay Thomas. This
Who
is what
said
they
that?
meant.
You know what? Wait a minute.
This is
I
what
want
they
their
meant.
fucking name.
Yeah.
Who said it?
Yeah.
All right.
Who said
I'm
it?
not telling you on the air.
I want to know.
That this is what
because
they meant.
they are full of shit.
You need more practice because maybe you
Then
shouldn't
you know what?
be as bold as
Let
you
them come down here and start fucking programming me. I'll fix them.
What did she change her name to? What did you say she changed her name to?
Her name was probably, Gloria or something.
Yeah, we don't know her real name.
We don't know her real name. She changed it to Anami. Anami, which is the unnameable one, the high god in Sanskrit, which is, a language by ancient Egyptians.
Yeah, she should be called Sourpuss.
Sourpuss.
Yeah, get the puss off your face.
Let's go to Mike, who's in Washington, D.C. Yes, Mike, go ahead. We just lost the poor woman.
Jay, how you doing?
I'm
I
fine.
kind of agree with Chris in Virginia. You are kind of a really bad interviewer. I've been wanting to say this for. You are, Jay. You're a fucking asshole, and you wonder why you don't get parts, why you don't get roles. You insult everyone in Hollywood. You insult every movie that comes out. You talk about people like they're the fucking worst people on the planet, and then you're an asshole. You're a motherfucking asshole. You talk about your staff bad. The best thing you
Now, wait a minute. You know what you're mad at? You're mad that I said, no, you're mad at one thing. No, you're mad that I said that Jimmy Fallon tried to enter the African-American world, okay? I know what you're fucking mad at.
You think he's holding a grudge?
Fuck about Jimmy Fallon. The only thing I give a fuck about is trying to hear an entertaining show. The only time it's entertaining is when you and that faggot fuck on your show shut the fuck up. Damn.
All right. All right. I got to tell you.
So upset.
Hold on a minute. All right, hold on. Christina, is this the guy from upstairs that told you you'd never learn how to interview? Is he from XM in Washington, D.C.?
Wow.
Do you work at XM in Washington?
Man.
What? Hold on.
And make jokes about it. Laugh it off and make jokes about it. But in reality, you know it's true. Your career is fucked because you're an asshole. Your wife tells you you're an asshole. You know you're an asshole. You're a motherfucking asshole. How can you bring a guest on the show, ask them a question, and then proceed to talk, and never give them a chance to answer?
All right. I'm going to apologize to her.
The guests may not even know about your show, Jay. Someone calls them, they come on, and then you immediately beat them up. And Lord, don't let it be a...
Now, wait a minute, Mike. What do you think of her name being Anami, the highest one? Wait a minute. What do you think of her name?
Mike, you have to calm down. You really have to calm down.
You know what? You're going to have a heart attack. You're going to have a fucking heart
attack. We're going to send some help for you.
Your motherfucking ass.
All right, hold on.
Wow. He's going to calm down.
All right.
You always beat up on women. You always beat up on women. Every woman that comes on that show, you beat them up. A decent male come on the show, you'll let them talk a whole fucking hour. let a woman come on that show, they can't get a motherfucking word. Man, you a fucking.
You know what, Mike? You know what I'm thinking about? When women come on, I wish I gave them some Ambien and I was on top of them. That's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah, Jay, make another joke. That ain't funny either. Like you never been funny, motherfucker. Have an interview with your
who's
people when
funny.
they come
Mike
in.
in DC.
Interview them, Jay Thomas. Everything ain't gotta be funny, especially when it comes out of you and that Kevin's mouth. That unfunny motherfucker.
Thank you.
Interview your people. And Kevin, I wish the fuck you would say something, bitch. I'll come to New York looking for your punk ass.
All right, come on.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Hamburger, baby.
All right.
We'll go out.
Mike, now listen, Mike,
right.
you can't be this angry
No.
at something's
he's
happened.
on meth or he's
Some-
on crack.
Something's happened. Something's happened.
Jay, I've actually been this angry with you since I started. I like your show. You got good content. But when it comes to interviewing, you always cut people off. And then there'll be some guests that
you
may have
insult
good
people.
content. There may be a guest that have good content. And Kevin, as you start to ask...
shut
up. All right.
Kevin,
All right. You know what? You're going in a circle now.
Hang up on him.
You know what? Go suck your own dick. Get rid of him.
Get rid of
him.
Thank God. He's probably going to shoot
Jesus.
himself now.
We took his advice.
Yeah. But over
What's
and
he
over
want?
and over again. Maybe he'll call back.
Let's go to Rick of Toronto.
I hope this
yes,
is a
Rick.
nice phone
Can
call.
I ask,
Go
why
ahead.
would you give this guy so much time?
We don't know.
Because he's accusing me of cutting people off, so I gave him time.
Can I ask you a question? What the fuck
Sure.
does this guy care so much about women fucking lifting weights with their vagina? Is he planning on putting this fucking egg in his asshole or something?
Oh, that's a great idea.
What is
Now you're opening up a whole other door.
There we go. I could do that.
Yeah.
This guy's a fucking goof.
All right.
Yeah. By the way, Jay, I want to tell you a story, but I'm not going to call now because I'm sure you got lots of other callers on this, but I'm going to call you later in the show.
Okay.
Really?
Because it's very interesting. I wonder if you know about it.
What is it? What is it?
Ah, man.
What is it?
I was in Illinois.
Illinois. Yeah.
Yeah. I went to a restaurant. It was 1 a.m. It just so happens it was a truck stop. I walk in, the restaurant was open. It was a gas station and everything. So I walk in, and it's a black guy in the restaurant cooking. So I start talking to him, and I was about business. He tells me, if you're a minority, the government, you get a mortgage through the government.
All right. We heard all of this bullshit last week.
Yeah.
No, that's not true. It's all bullshit. All right. It's all bullshit.
They give
It's
you
all
an
bullshit.
Obama phone.
It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. Okay? You don't get a mortgage. You don't, who knows, but you don't get a mortgage in the United States unless you have collateral. Unless you have, I mean, give me a break. Are you crazy? I've been doing it my entire life. Oh, well, you don't be shocked.
You're white,
Okay.
Jay, you're white.
No.
They're not giving anybody houses.
They're not
or
giving
mortgage.
anybody
Unless
any
you have
mortgages.
money.
Or that's what. Also, the guy that called up and said Pakistanis and Indians get a free, convenience store when they arrive in the United States. All right. See, all right. Goodbye. Goodbye. You're an idiot. Deb of California. Yes, Deb.
Hi.
Go ahead.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hi, Jay, and all of you. We're big fans of you guys. And my question was that don't people who are booked on your show have some heads up of what it's all about?
No.
You think they would? Yes.
No, they don't.
You
They have
would
no
think
idea.
they would.
No, you know what? Wait a minute. No, they wouldn't. All right, I go, let's say, I'm going to do something and I'm going to promote it. All right. Let's say it's Christmas time. Let's say I have a TV show or a movie. I'm going to promote it. And so, I go to my buddy Art Sears, who sets up, United States radio stations or whatever. Jay, you're on with Mike and Kathy in Good Morning Topeka. I don't know who they are. I don't know what their humor is. Right. And so, you don't know. I mean, unless you have serious
But then I get emails like this from a guest that I'm pursuing right now, knowing of Mr. Thomas as an actor and a comedian. We are just curious if this interview is meant to be taken seriously or if this is intended as material for making jokes. People
What
will
is it about?
correspond with me. It's the Church of Satan.
Well,
People will
The Church of Satan.
people will correspond back and forth with me. Like, we had the teacher that declined because he's a teacher and he didn't want to come on.
But no, wait a minute. He listened to the show.
He listened to the show, and then he made the assessment on himself. But a lot of times they don't. They don't have serious.
Jay,
it's not a good thing.
When I go on shows, when I travel around the country doing my stand-up shows, and I always go on the internet. I look to see what they look like. These people that are interviewing me. Whether or not I'm doing a phoner or whether I'm going to the station. I just want to have a little bit of a taste of their programming,
But that's smart.
Yes, it is.
So you can picture them nude?
Get people that have their own twine and bottles.
I always look for new pictures of the hosts.
I don't. All right. No, Deb, they don't know who anybody is, okay? They're just,
And then there's people like the bear lady who get so excited because they watch Jay on Letterman tell the Lone Ranger story.
That's it.
That usually sweetens the pot.
Sure it does.
All right.
That Mike
Jay,
is so angry, Jay.
I love the pussy power lifter.
This is an email you just got?
Yeah, thank you very much. Okay. Thank you. I love it. All right. Thank you. All right, that's enough of that.
Yeah.
We did it.
Well,
I just thought she'd be fun. And I know, Christina, you wanted her on. But you know what's weird about you is, why are you so interested in this? I don't see you as...
It's finally something I can talk about. I have one, and I do the Kegels all the time, and I was just interested in it.
Why don't we do this? Wait a minute. Why don't we do this? Wait a minute. You know what? Why don't you either go online...
questions about birthing and how strong...
Well, you're not going to have any children.
Doesn't matter. I'm still curious.
I wonder how it would be, if you do all those exercises with your vagina and you're lifting weights with your vagina, would you be able to have a baby easier?
That's what I was going to ask, Kevin. I didn't get that far.
No, we never got that. I was thinking that also.
The genius on the other end of the microphone, he'll just give me the answer.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. No, it's not going to help you.
It's not going to help.
How is it not going to help?
Because your muscles are so tight that it hurts it'll grab the kid's
Were you
head.
in the delivery room
it'll
for
strangle
all three
the baby
of your
if you
children
Kegel
being born?
halfway
No,
through?
not all. Yes, I was. The first one, though, they didn't allow you in there, but I heard her screaming in the other room.
Yeah.
And then the other two, I was in the room with them and did the whole thing.
Did she have a
and
C-section, or they were all vaginal?
All natural. The first one, they gave her drugs and all that.
Yeah.
But my wife used no drugs for the other two. No.
Okay.
No.
Other two?
When I was there. She did it on natural.
Mm-hmm.
I was also the birthing instructor for Valerie Bertinelli and her husband.
Tommy Lee Jones?
What's his name?
Kirk Cameron?
No. They're divorced, but he smelled the bourbon.
Eddie
Van Halen.
Van Halen. Eddie.
Thank you.
Eddie.
And at the birthing class, he came, he said, "Hey man, thanks a lot. That was really informative." And it was like I was talking to Jack Daniels himself, okay?
Really?
It was as if I just met Jack Daniels himself.
Eddie Van Halen.
And I was the birthing instructor.
Oh, what a nightmare to have you in there.
No, I was very good.
I'm sure you were. What a nightmare.
No. My wife complimented me. I was very good. Let's go to, I don't know who to go to.
You don't listen to women?
Let's go, Pete.
You don't listen?
Let's go to Jay of Connecticut. Someone with my name. Yes, Jay, go ahead. Jay of Connecticut.
This is Jerry.
Hello, Jerry.
Oh, Jerry, well, this show's a mess. Jerry, go ahead.
Not only did I like the interview, but I think it worked. I have 6 kids. I'm getting my wife a dozen of these eggs.
Really?
Uh-huh.
You're going to put
You can juggle them inside.
By the way, you can buy those jade eggs in a dozen carton. I've seen them for sale like
kidding.
that. You can.
That's an expensive.
Now, now the 6 kids, did you want to have 6 kids? Is it religious? I mean,
it's a Brady Bunch family.
Oh, 3 of yours and 2 of hers and 1 of yours. And now, how do you treat the offspring of the other guy?
He's never been around, so I've been around since they were 5, 6 years old. So,
did they ever say to you, "You're not my real dad"?
Never.
Really?
Yeah.
And the other dad never shows up?
Doesn't call, doesn't show up, doesn't pay child support.
Doesn't pay child support. Well, he'll get his someday because, it catches up to you if you don't pay. When he sells a house or something or some property gets moved into his name, that money's going to go to your wife.
Yeah, we'll see.
Oh, it will.
That bum will never have any money, will he, Jerry?
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, if he gets an inheritance or something like that, this is when they don't think it's going to happen, but it does.
Every one of my wives said that when they left their husband or whatever, they never asked for anything. That's what they said when I was dating him.
Yeah.
Except when they left me, okay? And they asked for fucking everything. So that's how that works.
All right,
okay,
Jay,
Jerry?
Hey, I'm at work.
All right, bye-bye.
It was a good interview.
Thank you.
See, people liked it.
You know what's funny? That she hung up so quietly.
Very quietly, yeah.
Do you think she did it with her vagina?
I was just going to say that. I think the phone was in her vagina.
Mm-hmm. Josh of Indiana. Yes, Josh, go ahead.
Hey, Jay, I just wanted to say I agree with Charles Barkley, who called and yelled at you earlier. Your interview fucking sucked. Man, that was awful, Jay. But you did say something that was real funny when you were explaining the promotion process with that lady when you actually said that you might, around Christmas, have a TV show. That was pretty funny. I laughed really hard for that.
What was that? What? I'm not getting it, Garrett.
When that lady called, when she said, when you said that nobody knew anybody that called in that was on your show, and you said,
right.
You said around Christmas time that you might actually have a TV show or something.
No, when I do Letterman, you asshole.
I was going to say, I thought you might actually have a TV show you were on. I thought that was pretty funny.
I'm on a new show. I'm on Ray Donovan. You don't ever watch that? You don't have enough fucking money to have Showtime.
I love Ray Donovan. It's a great show. Just
really? Well, you know what?
I like it.
Get rid of him. Get rid of him.
People are lighting up the web. Somebody says it's the best show this year. Wow.
No, it isn't.
Yeah.
You know what? You got this gay following. They don't know what the fuck.
No, this is on your show. It has nothing to do with me. This is comments on Jay Thomas on Facebook.
No, it isn't.
To Jay Thomas.
Everybody
I'm very
always
upset.
likes it when it's a huge,
I'm very upset.
flaming fire of...
Very, very, very upset. I've been told a million times I'm a rotten interviewer and I break in and everything else, and it just, I work my ass off at it. I'm stunned. What I worry about is if these program people or the head of the company were to tune in today, and they normally don't tune in, that's what really worries me. This would be the day that they would, that's the kind of luck I have.
Don't they do like when you were doing radio for many
Every
years,
now and again, they would, let's listen today. Let's listen. Let's
they
see
would do
what
air checks, wouldn't they? Isn't that what you call an air check?
Well, today's the day our channel's live in the lobby, so that's good.
Yeah. So watch this. So the head of the company goes, all right, what day do we have Thomas that we're listening? Wednesday, Feb 19? Okay. All right, get me Wednesday, Feb 19. I want to hear Thomas. I want to hear him. All right?
Oh, God.
Okay. We're going to go away. We're going to reboot the Jay Thomas Show.
Yes.
Tom Green will be here in a few minutes, and Tom is going to be at Access on Access TV Thursday night. Now, where is Access TV? I don't even know what is that.
It's Mark Cuban, the owner of the Mavericks.
Right.
It's an all-live television channel.
And is that done in Texas?
I mean, there's no studio per se. They do like every night. I believe they have Gotham Comedy Night. At
Yes,
Gotham
they have
Comedy
Gotham
Club,
Comedy
it's
Club.
live
Yes.
comedy.
So, right.
They have.
Well, he does it. Tom does his broadcast live from Los Angeles every Thursday night at 9 p.m. So we'll talk to him about that. And he takes Skype calls from viewers and stuff like that. And he's really the guy that started. Wouldn't you say not reality TV, but he was before Jackass, wasn't he? He was before.
Yes, he was. Yep.
And
He's
then
so funny.
He's a pioneer.
I love him.
He is a pioneer,
really
and many people say I was the pioneer of shock radio. It's not good to be a pioneer sometimes. It's not good. Every now and again, as a pioneer, you get a big log you just cut right up your ass. Just a big pioneer, a big.
That's Lewis and Clark.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. One of them killed himself. My wife is a direct descendant of the one that killed himself.
No kidding.
I'm not joking. Which one was that? And it's true.
Say Lewis.
It's from her mother's mother's
Her
side.
mother's vagina?
No, her mother's side.
How strong was her vagina? Her mother's vagina.
You know what? I don't appreciate you asking a question about
no, this goes
my
way
wife's
back.
family's vaginas and stuff.
Vagina.
You know, they didn't. You know,
my mother's vagina was very, very strong.
Yeah. You know, try and sugarcoat it now.
Yeah. But bleeding, always bleeding.
Not always.
Well, no, this was because if it wasn't, she'd cut it. You know,
it's so funny. Christina says, "Oh, finally, a subject I can talk about."
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, a woman who lifts weights with her vagina.
I had a lot of questions.
Christina, you know what? Let's start having more people on that you feel close to.
Why? So that you could crush my dreams?
No. You know. All right, we'll be right back.
Jay Thomas.
It's the Jay Thomas Show.
Afternoons. The Jay Thomas Show. Are you kidding? We were the hot new thing.
Jay Thomas.
Afternoons. Indy Sirius XM 104.
When people say, who is Jay Thomas, tell them to go to jthomas.com. I have put almost my entire career up there. Talk shows, acting, everything. And we've really worked hard on it for the last, few months. And I believe, isn't it the Jay Thomas Show is one also, Garrett? Don't we have one? There's two of them. Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Or jthomasshow@gmail is where you can contact me, and I read them all. And Christina handles the Facebook and stuff like that. Nick just sent this one to jthomasshow@gmail. Christina wants more people that she can deal with. Well, here's one. It's a website called Big Sausage Pizza, where guys get oral sex through a hole in a pizza pie. And in one of them, hot grease and cheese burns a guy's testicles. Maybe Christina would like that one.
Maybe.
Okay.
I'll check it out.
I don't think so.
I'll just look at it on my own personal time then.
Well, you know what's funny, though? That probably ruins the pizza for you, to have a big penis
of course. I'm not being serious. I don't want a penis near my pizza.
Right.
Penises
let's go to
time.
Let's go to Troy of Ohio. Yes, Troy, it's Jay Thomas. What do you listen to this show for? What is your reason for tuning in?
Well, Jay, actually, I listened to every reason that Mike from D.C. Was all fired up about, as far as you stomping all over guests, burning bridges in Hollywood, essentially being an asshole, as he proclaimed. Those are the reasons that I listened to your show.
How about he knew that did you just flush the toilet, Troy?
No, I'm just on the road. Sorry about that.
Oh, I thought you flushed the toilet. But he even knew that my wife thinks I'm an asshole. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, God, he knew quite a bit about you.
So he's quite a listener. He even knew. And my wife does think that I've completely sabotaged my own career and everything else. So,
well, it's the fact that you're willing to talk about it and be real about it. And not a lot of, the other people in Hollywood aren't saying the shit that you're saying.
They sugarcoat it. Jay doesn't sugarcoat it.
Absolutely.
No filter.
Yeah.
Unfiltered.
Right.
Unfiltered.
I like it.
That's right. Unfiltered. You know what? This show is just like lung cancer, which you get from an unfiltered fucking cigarette. Let's go to Terry, who is in Atlanta, Georgia. Yes, Terry. Go ahead. Terry of Atlanta.
Jay.
Yeah.
Why don't you have your own show, like after Letterman or something? Kick that dumbass Ferguson off of there. I mean,
yeah.
You know what? I have to tell you, years ago, Letterman was a big fan of mine for all that. I don't know why. He and I tried to make a deal, but somebody loves this guy, Craig Ferguson, and I've worked for Craig. Craig wrote a movie that I did called The Big Tease, which you ought to rent. It's really kind of funny, and Craig's a nice guy, and I know I should think Craig is funny, and I've said this before, but I don't laugh at him. I don't find him funny. I don't get it.
Really, I tried to watch it, and it sucks. I mean, you need to be on there.
Robot? Oh, God.
Yeah, and I don't know what keeps him on the air. I really don't. I have no idea.
Let's get a campaign started to get you to replace Ferguson.
Yeah.
And the ratings go up, and then it'll be decent. Well, decent TV.
I'll bet you $100 that will never happen.
I think the next time I'm attached to a TV show, I'll be producing it for my son. That's what I'm into now, pushing my kids. I actually sat down with my kids and said, okay, Thank you. I said, okay, it's up to you two now. I've carried this family far enough.
Yeah.
It's up to you two.
That's it. Yeah. It's all up to Kate also. You know, it's not up to me anymore.
Let's go to Rich of Winnipeg. Rich, go ahead from Winnipeg.
Hey, Jay, how's it going?
Oh, good. Thank you, Rich. Thank you, Rich.
Hey, did you guys ever figure out that conversion between Celsius and Fahrenheit yet? I called a couple months ago and you told me...
Yeah, we didn't want to hear that. We didn't care. We didn't care. No, we didn't want to hear about it.
Well, the other thing I want to talk to you about, sticking stuff up your ass.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Love to talk about that.
Okay, but a couple of weeks ago you guys were talking about that. It wasn't the subject. But there's a sound clip on the internet called Armageddon. Did you ever hear about that? It's a newscaster reading a story about two guys that stuck a hamster up their ass and they got it out by lighting it on fire. Did you ever hear about that?
What channel was that on?
Well, it's on YouTube. It's from probably the 90s.
Okay, we'll look it up. We'll look it up.
Look it up.
Okay.
It's called Armageddon Hamster. It's the funniest thing you'll ever hear.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
All right.
Lighting a hamster on fire is always funny.
This comes from Lynn. Lynn says, I would like to forward my qualifications as a potential suitor for Christina Palumbo. I'm a 53-year-old divorced man. You're out. But I have pluses. She's too old. I've already had my kids. I'm not interested anymore. My ex of 20 years rarely enjoyed sex, so my penis is really just 33 years old, which is close to the age of Christina's vagina. Is Christina there?
Yeah, sorry, I was answering phones.
Can you hear what I'm saying?
I heard the second part of it. He's old, but he's got a young penis.
Yes.
Because his wife didn't want to do it.
Right.
Women like Christina prefer a man to be larger than they are, because it makes them look skinnier.
Would you be interested in a older man?
Of course I would. I would prefer that.
So this guy's perfect for her. 50.
I
also got something on LinkedIn.
pepperoni.
What's happening right now? It's crazy.
Yeah, it's starting to happen.
Hot and
I live right beside a ski resort in Canada. I am not circumcised.
Oh, forget it.
Nope, you're out.
And you know what's
I don't
funny?
care how old your penis is.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Hold it a minute. People mistake me for a famous Canadian. Let's go around the horn.
Ooh, I hope
says,
it's who I think it is.
I walk down the street and people say, hey, there's that famous Canadian guy.
Is it Uncle Joey?
Who's Uncle Joey?
What's
Who's
his
that?
name? Joey.
Dave Coulier.
Dave Coulier.
Dave Coulier is your guest.
Yeah.
Garrett, who's your guest? Who's your guest? Yes. Hey, look at that. Isn't that Canadian guy?
Justin Bieber?
Ew,
Justin Bieber.
That would turn me right off.
Kevin Meaney, who do you think everybody says he looks like?
Oh, my God. Is that Rob Ford?
That's exactly right. That's what it is. Is that fat hunk of shit mayor over there? So, there you go.
Well, thank you.
The United States has denied fixing their voting to make the United States ice dancers win the gold medal. Hello?
Yeah, why wouldn't we?
They said that they made a deal with other judges that they would vote for their people in other events if our people won the thing.
Those ice dancers were so good.
They were good?
Oh, my God. What a beautiful presentation.
Is this
no boobies though? No boobies.
Is this Fez?
Don't need
Is that Fez from Ron and Fez on line 4?
No,
is that who that
it's not
is?
Fez. It's a guy asking about.
I don't know who those people are. I don't know them.
Well, no, he's.
I mean,
he's
I know them,
He's
but I don't.
asking if Kevin and Fez will ever hook it up.
Oh,
get it on.
Fez is asexual though.
Really?
Really? You know about them? I don't know anything about them.
Yeah, coworkers.
Afternoons, the Jay Thomas Show on Indy, Sirius XM 104.
Well, Tom Green started it all. That's right. We used to watch Tom Green torture his poor parents. Run naked through public water. Through fountains and everything else. And now Tom Green is live on Access TV Thursday nights at 9 o'clock. And You take guests, and also you Skype with the people that watch the show, right, Tom?
Yeah. Hey, how are you, Jake? Yeah. Thanks.
I'm great, man. Thank you for being back on the show. What's it feel like when I say you started it all? The the kind of offbeat reality type. I don't give a shit kind of TV.
Well, I don't. It feels good, man. Feels good. We were when I was a broadcasting student. I studied television broadcasting in 1992 or something like that, just so I could get my hands on a video camera. Because all I wanted to do was put on scuba gear and run through fountains in my hometown and just go nuts.
Right.
But it was a lot of fun, and I've been always enjoyed making television. I grew up just a huge fan of David Letterman, right? So I just wanted I wanted to yell out of the window of my office with a megaphone and throw things off 5-story buildings. And back then that was really, to me, what started it all, was seeing Letterman do all those early pranks on Late Night with David Letterman. So it's fun. I'm having a great time on my new TV show. We've built a little studio here in Burbank. We're the last talk show out of Burbank now, and we're having great guests. It's kind of a throwback to the old Tom Snyder show. So we have
I like that. I like it very much.
Can I say something? If you will not just you, but if you will all go to jthomas.com. I just downloaded, Tom had me on about a dozen times.
No kidding.
And I sat there with him for an hour. And what's funny is, and you know this too, Tom, and Kevin Meaney is here also, I would do these shows and we would have a great time, and no one the next day would call up and say, oh my God, I just saw you, with Tom Snyder. It was great. I'm going to hire you for this, whatever. And I watched those things and I went, man, that's the most comfortable I've ever been in my life, just sitting and having fun.
It was like
and
in that
talking.
black box that, there was no
because he
set
kept
or
going for 30 minutes. You'd be there for 30, 40 minutes,
Yeah. It was one of my favorite shows growing up, and it was, the relaxed, laid-back aspect. And they took phone calls on that show. We take calls on Skype, on video, so actually our callers, if you want to interact with the guests, you actually get to be on the show and get seen on the show. But I think it's just a real kind of nice luxury to have that time. I had Dan Rather on the show a couple of weeks ago for an hour, and I got to talk to him about everything he's experienced in his life, from like the JFK assassination, meeting Martin Luther King, and all sorts of amazing stories.
He killed Martin Luther King?
No, he met him.
He met him. He didn't kill him. He met him.
Now, Tom, I'll go back and watch that. Are you doing that? Are you doing that to change your image, or were you funny with Dan Rather? Did you make him funny about anything?
He's not
funny. Well, we had a good, Dan Rather, he does a show on Access TV, too, a really great show on Access TV, and we thought it would be fun to have him on because he's just such a amazing broadcaster and he's got so many stories. But we did chew tobacco together, and we drank some whiskey shots together. So that was pretty cool. I asked him before the show, I said, I'd read in his book that he liked wild turkey, so we had a bottle of wild turkey bourbon there, and I asked him, hey, would you be into doing some shots with me on the show? And we knocked a few back on the show, and we had a good time.
I saw him do shots on the show with the other guy on Bravo.
No,
yes, he
no,
did.
you didn't.
What was that?
Andy Cohen.
Andy
the
Cohen.
Shot ski. Yeah.
He did the shot ski. He's doing shots all over TV.
Okay, hold on a minute. He's a known fucking drunk. Okay, let's just go right there.
Well, we had a good time. I like to have a drink myself now and then. And
is it a live audience that you do the show in front of?
What's that?
Do you have a live audience?
No, it is sort of modeled after Snyder.
Oh, it is?
In a lot of
Okay.
ways. So,
interesting.
You'll hear people laughing in the background, the crew,
okay.
people in the studio, but we don't have the sort of...
That's better. You don't need that stupid fucking audience.
I'm going to tell you something about
in the room.
Dan Rather was thrown off. Dan Rather, with his career was ruined or whatever, and his demise came because of him exposing the Swift. Was it Swift Boat? Was that the thing that he was?
So.
Right. He was correct. Those guys had a hatred of John Kerry, and I forget the exact thing, but he was thrown off of television for something that we knew was correct, but they say that he couldn't prove. And he got some false info.
The George Bush's service in the National Guard.
Did you talk to him about that?
That's right. What? Now, it was true, though, Tom. George Bush did not do shit during the Vietnam War and did not show up very often. I mean, much like I would have done or you would have done if we'd have had a rich dad and we'd have gotten out of the war, right? So I don't begrudge him that. But if it was true and he was thrown off, did you discuss that with him? That the information was true, but they never could prove it? Yeah.
He gets into a lot of detail about that in his book, Rather Outspoken, his latest book. And, it's interesting. He talked about on the show just how we are living in a world where there's really only 3 or 4 major corporations that control all of the media in this country. And he was rather outspoken about that in the sense that, if you speak out about somebody that supports, if a political party that supports your network, you have to expect there's going to be some repercussions. So it was a real interesting conversation, and we talked about that in detail. And usually the show really focuses on comedians. Every week we have a comedian on. Last week we had Sandra Bernhard on.
Oh,
it was just hilarious.
You have comedians on your program?
Yeah.
That's how interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty much usually that. Yeah.
Oh.
Tomorrow night the Workaholics are on the show.
Oh, the Workaholics.
The Workaholics from Comedy Central. Mm-hmm. So those guys.
Now, Mark Cuban owns the channel, and what's great about Cuban is he sold this internet sports network that you could listen to your college or whatever for hundreds of millions of dollars, and then the people that bought it like so many other things in the in that time, it went broke.
Oh my God.
So Mark took cash. And have you had him on your show for an extended interview? He's an interesting guy, Mark Cuban.
I know. I'd love to interview him. I haven't had him on yet, but
really,
not yet. No, not yet. But I definitely would love to have.
Have you met him?
Absolutely. I haven't actually met him in person, but we've emailed back quite a bit since they started the show, and he's been
great.
supportive of the
show. So he's part of he watches the show and he knows the programming that's on his network.
Yeah,
now, right?
He's definitely very hands-on with the network.
How hands-on is he?
Well, he knows what's going on with the show. He doesn't come in and tell me what to do, which is really nice. He just said, do good interviews. He sent me some funny emails where he just told me to go out and stir up shit, and you can swear here, right? He said fuck shit up is what he said, but and you can't swear here, right?
Well, no, you can't, but thanks anyway.
Great.
You know what? Hold it. We used to be able to, you fucking asshole, and now you fucked it up for all of us. You fucking asshole.
Thank God you just scared the hell out of me there. I thought
that's all right. You know what is great though? Tom, it is true, isn't it? As comics, as funny people, we're very easy to get. You know that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because you're gullible. You're gullible as hell. Yeah.
You it's weird where you almost assume you can swear on the radio now because everything's gotten so open, and on my television show you can swear on Access TV.
Oh, you can?
Yeah, and it's really kind of sort of surreal.
Did you see Elaine Stritch the other day on the Today Show? She said fuck on the Today Show, Elaine Stritch?
Yeah.
Fucks, fucking Kathy Lee.
Be able to talk like a normal human being and use words that you use in normal life.
Yes.
Everybody's heard it, but sometimes I do kind of miss the days where you weren't allowed to swear, though, because it's sort of the having to kind of dance around it was always sort of a good source of comedy,
Absolutely.
Well, also, if you when we first got here, or I first got here, we were like children, in a sandbox. I mean, I couldn't curse enough, and I listened to a tape of myself, and I thought, or whatever the fuck it is, an audio or something, and I thought, oh my God, that's really bad radio there, and so that's part of the problem. And then after a few months, you kind of get over it, but no one has ever come to us and told us to stop doing it. And here's the crazy thing, Tom. I don't know of anyone that's ever complained on any of the channels that I know of.
Where would they complain to? Would they call
Well, they would complain to us or the management. If they complained enough, the guy would come down and say, hey, we're getting a lawsuit or somebody's upset or whatever. So I guess when people like HBO or like your thing, Access or whatever.
Well, the minute
that's
they say
kind of
F you on a network TV, those phones light up at the network. I just heard so-and-so say the F word.
Right.
And they get all upset, and they're writing letters, and it's like the end of the world.
Well, there's this group, Tom, that this is how Imus got caught. It's the Focus on the Family or whatever. They have audio recorders going 24 hours a day, and people manning them that do Imus, they do Limbaugh, they do all the regular radio guys, and they're waiting for them to say something. And the day that Imus, like the day that Imus did it, it was 6:14 in the morning. He said those nappy-headed hoes or whatever, and it was a slow news day, and that cost him his job. He ended up doing fine.
And that's where Morning Joe was born.
This is what I don't miss. I don't know if you know this. On regular radio, Tom, if one person complains to the FCC, they put your license in jeopardy, and the FCC will investigate it as if it was 1 million people. Mm-hmm. That's the problem. And that has to stop. That shit's got to stop. Yeah.
Yeah, it was even like that back when I was doing college radio in Canada. Although they don't mind as much about swearing up there, but it's good. We can say what we want now, and it's cool. I'm actually thinking of getting rid of my cell phone though. Not because I think that the NSA is listening to me, but I just think it's driving me nuts. Do you think you could survive 30 days without your cell phone?
I could. I don't need
me
my
too.
cell phone.
I could. But you know what, Tom? That's because you're old. That's old. That's an old guy.
This is what I think it is, Jay. I don't need the phone anymore because I'll still have the phone. I'll have my internet, but I can just use Wi-Fi and I can use FaceTime, and I don't need to pay a monthly service for a phone because I can do it for free now.
Tom, what's your problem with the cell phone, Tom? Go ahead.
I'm always clicking away at the thing. I don't even know why I'm doing it half the time anymore. I'm addicted to it. And everybody, you go out to a restaurant, you look around, everybody in the restaurant staring down, looking at their phone. I think it's really warping our brains, and I'm just going to get rid of it for a month, and I have a feeling I'm going to feel much better about life in a month.
Are you single now? Are you in the dating world, or are you with somebody?
Yeah, I'm single at the moment, but I had a nice girlfriend. I was going out with a nice girl, but we broke up recently, so,
Well, I'll get to that in a minute, but do women text while you're having dinner with them, or when you're out with them?
I can't stand that, and that's actually was part of the problem with this girl I was going out with recently. She was always on her phone, and you start kind of thinking to yourself, are we hanging out here right now, or are you hanging out with every other person that you know on Instagram?
Yeah.
And I just know.
Well, wait a minute. Well, excuse me. She was too young.
Yeah, it's possible.
Instagram. The young people are on Instagram.
Yeah.
She was too young.
My daughter is. She's on Instagram. She's 14.
Yeah.
No, but you were too young.
You were too young. I'm on Instagram too, so it's fun. I just are you on Instagram? I'm gonna have to follow you on there. I just tweeted out. I'm playing a fun game on Twitter right now. It's kind of a weird game we're doing on the show. Remember a few years ago, somebody stole a garden gnome out of somebody's.
Yes.
Yeah, that doesn't happen much anymore.
Yeah, someone stole a garden gnome out of somebody's garden and then took off on a world tour and started sending Polaroid photos of this garden gnome back to the person from all over the world, from Paris, from everywhere. Well, so I started this game on my Twitter last week. I actually went and got a plastic garden gnome, and I wrote my Twitter address, and I handed it to somebody, and they took a picture of it, and it says on the garden gnome, take me and pass me on to somebody and tweet a photo back to my Twitter, which is at Tom Green Live. So there's this garden gnome that's been floating around Los Angeles for the past 4 days, and you can find pictures of it on Twitter right now. This is what I do with my spare time.
Now, wait a minute. That garden gnome thing was taken from a movie. There was a movie that I watched, and in the film, the dad would never travel. And so somebody took his garden, the dead wife's garden gnome, and showed the dad. Was that taken from the movie, or did the movie steal it from real life?
Actually, the movie copied, the prank became sort of quite an urban legend. I think, was that the movie Amélie?
Yes.
Yeah.
Was it Amélie? Right. Was it the French film Amélie?
I think they did have that in there. I only know this because I read the Wikipedia page about the garden gnome prank last week, trying to figure out how it all started. So I'm up on my garden gnome information.
Right. Now, where has the garden gnome been? Your garden gnome?
Well, we gave the garden gnome to Sandra Bernhard at my show, and we told her to give it to somebody. So she took it to her show in Lancaster, California, and gave it to someone there. And it's changed hands about 3 times, but it actually hasn't showed up on Twitter in about 2 days. So I'm a little worried about it. I got a lot of time on my hands, Jay. I got a lot of time.
I hate those fucking things, the garden gnome. I hate to see them in the garden. Don't you? I mean, I don't like them. And the pink flamingos and all that.
Also,
I don't get
I'm going to be doing some new shows in Las Vegas at the Hard Rock. You ever get down to Vegas?
God, I love that Hard Rock.
I do. Are you going to be there in March?
Yeah, I am going to be there in March. Yeah, I'm going to be doing weekends there. I do my show on Access Thursday night, and then I'll be down on weekends at the Club Vinyl at the Hard Rock.
And who are you working with in Las Vegas?
Well, I'm doing a show. It's going to be at 7:30 at Vinyl, and but I'm actually going to be on the same night as Andrew Dice Clay, actually. So.
Oh my God!
Now 7:30. No, wait, that's early. That's too early.
Well, we're older now.
Well, Tom, why 7:30? I mean, you're not drunk yet. No one's,
Yeah, I know. Well, they'll have to start drinking early when they come to my show, I guess.
Yeah.
Now, do they tell you that you can only work X amount of minutes and you can't go 1 second over because it costs millions of dollars if people are kept from the tables?
Yeah, that's usually like I did some shows there last year at the Riviera and also at the Hard Rock, and because it's a casino, they like to limit your amount of time a little bit so that people can get out and start gambling. But that's fine with me. That just means less work for me, right?
When I do a show in Vegas or Atlantic City, there's always a clock on stage, a countdown clock, and it will say 35 minutes. And when it goes down to 0, you better be off that stage.
Right.
Yeah.
Tom, have you covered on your show the National Geographic guy, the pastor of Snake Salvation, who was bitten, refused to have any God let the snake bite him, and he refused to have any medical stuff. Did you talk about that? And the guy died, Tom.
Yeah, we may talk about that tomorrow night because that's just we haven't done a show since that happened, but that's quite the shocker. Who would have thought that he would have died from a snake bite?
Yeah. Now, let me say something else. I think that it's fine that he's dead, and I'm glad that he's dead. But here's the weird thing. When God lets the snake bite you, that means that God doesn't find favor with you. So the guy is in hell. I mean, that's the way that works, And
now I hear that his son is actually preaching with the exact same snake that killed his father. Like now, he's doing it. He's up there preaching with the same snake that killed his father a few days ago. So
that's beautiful. That's a beautiful, beautiful story.
Yeah. Well, sorry, I'm not trying to bring the mood down or anything. But
No. I'm glad. I think it's funny. If you're that fucking dumb, and first of all, if you believe in some supreme being, period, you're an idiot.
First of all, if you believe in snakes,
snakes
biting religion, God.
Now, these are the snakes that the son now...
With a big hat on, I want,
It feels like it could potentially be reality TV out of control, though, right? We've got the swamp people and...
No, not out of control.
And we're running out of things to do, so there's a market for a guy who's, playing with poisonous snakes. He probably wouldn't have even been doing it if he hadn't had the television show.
No, that's not true. In fact, this is what reality TV ought to be. He is for real. All the rest of them are full of shit. Snake Salvation is for real, and the guy... Now, I'll bet you that National Geographic won't show the biting and the dying, and that's what's stupid. If they don't show it, then that's a slap in the face to reality television.
Yeah, well, this is what I'm wondering. Like, he refused medical treatment. I'm sure.
Yes.
Were the cameras there filming him as he died? And
supposedly.
If they were, was in his mind, was he saying, I'm going to refuse medical treatment, let God decide? But was he also thinking that'll be great TV? And he made a miscalculation because the cameras were there.
Yeah.
All of it. I
hope his family sues.
If the cameras weren't there, he'd probably still be alive.
Mm-hmm.
Go to TomGreen.com. Access is AXS TV, Thursday nights at 9 o'clock. And then coming soon on the weekends, you're going to be at the Hard Rock? Is that what you said?
Yeah, the Hard Rock starting in about a month from now. I've tweeted out, go to my Twitter at Tom Green Live. All the show times are on there. And we've got the Workaholics tomorrow night live, so call me on the show, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Do you get pranked like you have on your previous internet shows?
What's that? Sorry,
do you get pranked? Yeah, because you're live.
Pranked.
Yeah.
A little bit, not as much though. You know, we sort of, we try to produce it a little bit more because we want to keep the conversation going. So we get our people calling in a little bit before the show. We help them figure out a good question. But people sometimes prank us. It gets a little weird sometimes with the callers.
Of course.
Now, Tom, you're not on regular TV.
No, he doesn't want to be on regular
great.
TV. Crazy old bastard.
Access TV, I don't
all right, get rid of that. That's the old weatherman we have here, Tom. I'm so sorry. Tom, you were in Costa Rica, and this happened to my wife or my kids. They were swept out to sea when they were playing in the surf and surfing, and they were almost killed. You were sucked off. You were sucked off of a rock, but you were fishing. And are you a fisherman, or were you just doing it that day and the wave got you?
Yeah, well, I think I could say I'm a fisherman. You know, I grew up in Canada, fishing mostly in lakes for northern pike.
Northern pike. They give you a good fight, the northern pike.
Yeah, I got the largemouth bass there, up in Canada.
Hey.
It seems impossible. Yeah. Were you not braced behind a rock or something? I mean, you were right out there on the edge when the wave took you?
Fortunately, I was actually not swept into the ocean. I was knocked back off the rock onto more rocks. And I broke a couple of ribs, and, it was not pretty. But, I think, being from landlocked Ottawa, Canada, and having never even seen the ocean until I was 25 years old, if you can believe that. I never even looked at the ocean until I was down there. I didn't really know much about the ocean. I walked up to the rock with my new fishing rod. I thought I was, being pretty clever, and I was just and the waves were bigger than normal, but I didn't really notice that. And, I'd never heard the saying, never turn your back to the ocean. And I turned my back to the ocean.
I've never heard that.
On the hook, and the rest was history. I had to drive myself 2 hours on a dirt road to a hospital with 2 broken ribs, and it was not pleasant. But yeah, it's pretty deadly down there. I go down to Costa Rica.
You were alone, fishing alone?
I was fishing alone. Yeah, that sort of sounds sad.
That really does sound sad. You want to go fishing? No, I'll just go alone.
An old man in the sea.
Well, it is sad because you just, you had a quickie divorce deal, and now you had a young woman who texted and ruined your relationship. Do you worry about? I mean, you're not a young guy anymore. You're younger than me. But
I'm thinking I got to settle down soon. I'm just waiting for the right lady, and
lady.
I'm looking forward to having some kids and stuff and doing all that. But I'm taking my time. I'm 42 years old now. It's getting a little ridiculous.
How's your sperm count?
Oh, everything's good. I did have the testicular cancer, So,
that's right. Yeah.
So it's probably at least 50% what it should be. No, actually, that does not affect. It does not affect.
Hold on, let me, Christina. If a man had testicular cancer, wouldn't you always think when he came in you could catch it from him?
Oh no, Jay, it's not contagious.
No, I'm sorry.
It's funny.
It's not like AIDS.
Quiet, please. Let Tom answer.
We
Tom,
both said AIDS at the same
you think any women? You think any women think your sperm might have the cancer cells
no, they're
in them?
thinking it's Tom Green. Hell yeah.
Sperm. It's
what?
cancer sperm. No, that's not how you get testicular cancer. Actually,
Hold it. Excuse me. Who the fuck knows how you get cancer? They don't know how anybody gets anything, okay?
Yeah.
So your sperm could shoot inside of a woman, and we don't fucking know.
Give me testicular cancer.
We don't
like what? Do I grow a ball sack and then it's infected with cancer?
I don't
understand
know
how that would happen.
Wow, I'm glad I brought up the testicular cancer.
Well, go online and go, where does cancer come from? They don't know. Nobody knows. They have no idea.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm sure it's probably fluoride in the water or cell phones in your pocket.
Or, how about this, Tom? It's sperm from cancer victims in the water. How about that?
You know what? I personally am the number one cause of cancer.
Yeah. All right. Well, Tom Green, I will come see you in Vegas. A bunch of buddies are going to go down in March. I hope I'll come see you there.
Yeah.
And you've always been a favorite. I will go out of my way to find this Access TV on my cable provider. Tom Green is
I'd
live.
like to hear Michael, the caller that didn't really like the last interview. I'd like him to say Axis. That's all.
9 o'clock on Thursday nights. We had a woman on, and you should probably get her on. Her name is Kim Anami, and she wrote a book, 10 Reasons Women Ought to Lift Weights with Her Vagina. Tom, within 3 questions, she had hung up on me. So maybe you could do better. So
all right.
That's it. Tom Green, thanks. We're available anytime you want to come on and plug stuff. And remember, Tom will be at the Hard Rock doing stand-up starting weekends in March and ad infinitum. And then on Access TV Thursday nights at 9 o'clock. And the Workaholics and Comedy Guest. And you're Skyping on the Tom Green Show. Tom, thank you very much.
Good luck, Tom.
Hey, thanks, Jay. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
All right. There you go. All right. There you go.
Wow.
He was great, Jay.
Now,
who is that?
What a great interviewer you are.
Who is that?
He's an actor.
No.
Yes.
Yep.
Well,
he's an actor.
A little bit.
He's been in a lot of movies.
Maybe.
He's going to be at the Hard Rock Cafe.
Is he tall or short?
I haven't seen his bit short.
You think he's short?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think
he was married to Drew Barrymore. Do you know who that is?
Oh, Drew Barrymore. She's famous.
That's right. And they broke up.
I thought they were so good together. I loved them as a couple.
Yeah, they seem like a perfect.
Yeah, the laughing.
I was happy when they broke up. I just can't.
But I think she's crazy.
Yep.
Hold on a second.
I think so, too.
I tried to talk to him about this, a few times back. He doesn't want to talk about it. And he said the truth. She's so big in Hollywood, it'll just hurt me. JT and I were at Jones, which is a cafe, an upscale, really hip place on Santa Monica Boulevard. Now, this is many years ago. Uh-huh. And she was dating Tom Green. And JT and I were sitting, and it's a great place to go in L.A., and it's right across from the famous Formosa Cafe on Santa Monica.
I've been to the Formosa.
And Drew Barrymore was sitting there were many recognizable people in the place. She was sitting kind of catty corner to us, unless it was a lookalike, and JT and I saw her in a woman's lap making out. And we both looked at it, and I said, wow, that sure looks like her to me, or whatever.
Yeah.
After Tom married her, he sued her for fraud. And the only person that I remember getting sued, I think there was a couple of other people. They got married, and then the wife or somebody sued him for fraud.
Yeah.
And I've always wondered, what's the fraud if you get married? And it's got to be that they weren't into your sex. I don't know. But I believe he sued her. Maybe, I don't know. Or her lifestyle was wilder than he thought or something. I don't know.
My divorce papers said cruel and unusual punishment.
Well, I feel that way at the end of every show with you, so I get it. What are irreconcilable differences? What are those?
Well, I wish I did have those, yes.
That's after 20 years of marriage. Yeah. You have irreconcilable,
There's things that you don't agree on anymore. You can't come to terms with it.
Right. In Castle Rock, Colorado, it is now legal to carry on your hip a firearm.
Yes.
In public buildings, in parks. The town council repealed a ban over objections of a majority of the police department and a majority of all of the town staffers. This is so funny to me. And so now you'll be playing with your kids in the park, and there'll be some asshole with a gun on his hip. I know. That is just so...
Then they're going to find pot on him, and then they're going to blame pot, and then that's going to be the end of that.
Well, when my son lived in Arizona, he had a gun in his hip, and we're getting the car filled up, and he's filling the car up, and I see this little gun in his hip, a small gun. And I said, this is how I always wanted to live. I said, first of all, we are not tough guys. My family, we're not, on our coat of arms, there's like a chicken holding a white flag.
On the radio, you're tough. You're a tough radio guy.
No, we're not tough guys. And so I said, let me tell you, a bad guy, a really tough guy with a gun, does something that you don't do.
Yeah.
You will do. And he goes, what's that? You will hesitate. Mm-hmm. A tough guy doesn't hesitate.
Even the
gun
guy will hesitate? Your gun guy?
Yes. My gun guy, of course he'll hesitate. Sure he will. Absolutely. He'll think about it first. What's going to happen? Should I? Bam! He's dead.
Yeah.
A bad guy doesn't, they're so nuts, they don't care whether they live or die.
Oh, that's correct.
You don't, look, you go into a bar room and you're a guy like me and you start with somebody. I'm not a tough guy, and I'm going to be very sorry when my nose is broken. The guy that I'm talking to is not going to, he doesn't give a shit whether his nose is broken or not. He doesn't care. And that's the difference between, like in the movies, tough guys don't look like Brad Pitt. Tough guys don't look like, Vince Vaughn or Matt Damon, Tom Cruise. Tough guys are big guys with big stomachs,
big necks,
and big fucking arms and big necks, and they will just knock the shit out of you if all of it. I don't know why they don't have like a guy like John Goodman, the young John Goodman, should have played in the Bourne Identity. He looks like a guy that can handle himself or whatever, Not Matt Damon. Oh, please. Please.
Oh, he's good enough.
When you go into a bar and a fight breaks out, you don't see Edward Norton, Garrett. You don't see Edward Norton fighting like in Fight Club. Are you kidding? What a joke.
When I have sex, I don't see a porn star below me either. But when I'm watching it, you want to see a fantasy. Don't you think?
They beat up people in the movies, and they don't have the muscles to even beat them up, so it's not even a fantasy. It's not a fantasy.
It takes you out of the movie that much.
What about Bruce Lee?
Yeah.
Bruce Lee could kick some ass.
Well, yeah, that's karate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kung
that's
Fu
karate.
Vagina.
Kung Fu.
By the way, I'm going to open the phones up.
Sorry,
I'm going to open the phones up. So get rid of everybody. And you guys are going to help me with a guest, a very famous guest, a name that it's a name that people use all the time. And we're going to have this person on. You know who I'm talking about.
Vernon Long.
Christina? Yeah, no. And you clear those telephones. Clear those phones. Okay. You're going to give me, the person wants pre-questions before they come on to be sent to them.
Okay.
Pre-answered. And so stay where you are. You will actually help me with my next interview on the Jay Thomas Show. Stay where you are.
The Jay Thomas Show. Afternoon.
Jesus. What idiots.
Indy. Sirius XM 104.
All right, so we actually we had a big discussion a couple of weeks ago about Mr. Heimlich and the Heimlich maneuver, which we all know. And when you get something caught in your throat, Christina, is he an MD? Is it Dr. Heimlich? Is that his name?
I believe that he is a doctor. Yes.
Yes.
And Kevin happens to know his son, Peter Heimlich.
Peter Heimlich, yes.
And I believe in a story that we read, they have decided not to call it the Heimlich maneuver anymore. And that's what the story was, right? And
that is so silly.
Well, wait, who's they? Is it
the Heimlich family?
It might have been the Heimlich family. Doesn't want it to be called the Heimlich maneuver. Or something. So maybe that's what we were talking about.
Yeah.
And I sent a note to Christina, and she was able to get the man. But can he hear, or what's the reason? He wants to know the questions already.
He's 94 years old, so they don't usually do live interviews. They usually do pre-taped interviews. And then I said,
right.
Well,
maybe we can talk to his wife.
Interviews, and then so she suggested, well, maybe if we send them questions, and he gets them ahead of time.
Yeah,
then maybe he can do the interview that way because he doesn't usually do the live ones.
All right, well get your
I got it. I'm ready.
Writing utensil. Let's go
to of the show work.
To Gary of Florida. Gary of Florida, if you could interview a 94-year-old doctor, what's his first name? What's Mr. Heimlich's first name?
Frederick.
Frederick Heimlich. Gary, what would you ask Frederick Heimlich? We need to send in question. What would you ask him?
I guess I would ask him if he ever got sued because someone tried the Heimlich maneuver and it didn't work.
Has he ever been sued because someone tried his maneuver and it didn't work?
Also, his name is Henry, not Frederick.
Oh, I'm sorry. Henry
Heimlich. That's a very, very good question. Gary, you will hear your question out of my mouth.
Yes.
Top-notch interviewer, Jay Thomas.
You
Thank
should
you
do
very
this,
much.
Jay, all the time. You should actually get questions
You know
from the
what?
audience.
I'm not.
That way they can't complain about what a shitty interview you are.
I don't get it, okay?
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't get it. Let's go to Mark of Ottawa. Yes, Mark. Do they have the Heimlich maneuver in Canada? Do they have it there? Do they call it that?
Absolutely.
They do?
Same
All right.
thing.
Do you think the Canadians could change from saying Heimlich to another named maneuver?
Probably be Heimlich A.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking
Maneuver
A.
A. Yeah.
Hold
I
it.
have,
Mark,
Jay, I have
what
a
is it?
Tom
What's
Green trivia for you.
I don't want a Tom Green trivia. I don't care
We
about
were
that.
neighbors in Ottawa, him and I.
Get rid of him. Get
Everybody,
rid of him.
by the way, everybody
Get
in
rid of him.
Ottawa called during Tom Green's interview
I know.
to tell me that
and
they
said
lived near
Wait a
him.
minute. I'll prove it. Let's go to Mike of Ottawa. Mike, how close did you live to Tom Green when you were in Ottawa?
More than a half an hour away at least.
All right, get rid of him. Get rid of him. We
humble.
don't care. Yeah, too humble. Yeah. Let's go to Dave of Ohio. Dave, what should we ask Henry Heimlich, the man that thought of putting your knuckles in your solar plexus and expanding or, knocking the stuff out of it? Oh, he hung up? Dave hung up?
No, I'm here.
Oh, go ahead, Dave. Yeah. Go ahead.
Well,
Go ahead.
I think he's missing branding and marketing opportunities. I mean, Heimlich would be a great name for a restaurant.
Yep.
Fast food chain. Rib place.
Really fast food.
These are the exact kind of questions that's going to make the 94-year-old
Mr.
man hang
Heimlich,
up.
I'm going to practice the questions after. Mr. Heimlich, have you ever considered opening a fast food chain of restaurants?
Called Heimlich. That's right.
Heimlich, yeah. I know the name of it. I know the name of it. All right.
That's a great question.
I don't think we're going to ask that.
Okay.
I don't think so either.
I don't think so. This isn't going well.
Well, we got one good one. I've only talked to two people. And
Yeah,
Garrett should be doing this
stupid.
anyway since
Well, no.
he's the producer.
No. Let's go to Wally of Pennsylvania. Yes, Wally. Go ahead.
Hey guys, I would like to ask Mr. Heimlich if he'd like to change the name for the name I always refer to it as the Heiny Lick maneuver.
High five, Wally.
I like
All right,
that,
thanks
the
a lot.
Heiny Lick.
All right.
Wasn't that, didn't somebody say Heiny Lick last week?
I'm sure.
What's
wait,
your
that's
question?
my private thing. Sorry, everybody.
What's your question, Garrett?
Did he invent this procedure at the spur of the moment, or did he put thought into it and then test it out? Like, was someone choking and he was like, oh, crap.
Oh, that was on the list of questions I already sent him. We're on the same page.
I know, I sent you that question.
No, you didn't. You didn't send me any questions.
Okay, here we go.
You didn't send me any questions, sir.
Whoopsie doodle. You know what's funny? I'm going to interview him, and I don't have one question for the man. That's so funny. I'm drawing a complete blank. This comes to jthomasshow@gmail. This just came in. Dear Jay, look it up. It's true. In Ludlow, California, we were all driving down the freeway in our big rigs when all of us smelled beef cooking, ribs cooking, and we started all pulling over. We had no idea that rear wheels of a 18-wheeler had ignited, and we were on Interstate 40, and it started burning up 80,000 pounds of ribs.
Yeah.
And they cooked in the truck.
Oh, my God.
He said it was the greatest smelling wreck I've ever been around. Check it out. Ludlow, California.
Wow.
80,000 pounds of... I mentioned ribs, and that's all the guy could think about.
I remember when the Yoo-Hoo truck fell over and we got all that Yoo-Hoo. That was great.
Really? No, you didn't. You ran out and got Yoo-Hoo?
Yeah. The Yoo-Hoo truck crashed on the ice. And
It happened with that ID. What's that? The coffee creamer.
Cremate?
No, it's
Cremora?
it's called ID or something. International Delight. That happened on the road also, and they were coffee creamer for days.
Oh, yeah.
People
it all poured out?
Yeah, people just ran up to the highway and was taking barrels of it home.
Yeah.
When do we have an old man Heimlich on? When's he coming on?
Well, we have to send the questions first and make sure that it's okay.
Hey, let's go to Ira, the weatherman. Ira, what would you ask old man Heimlich? I'm going to call him that.
I
old
would
man
ask
Heimlich.
him how he started in business.
No, it isn't a business. It's a
How he
life-saving.
started this.
Do you know the Heimlich maneuver?
Yeah, let's say somebody is choking.
Yeah.
All right, do it to Kevin. Good.
Yeah.
Kevin, pretend you're choking.
Hold on.
And all right, Ira.
Okay.
He's really strong. He's really strong.
How do you do it?
Ira's patting him on the back.
No, it's not patting on the back.
He's dying. It's not helping. It's not helping.
Do the Heimlich.
Do the Heimlich.
Ira, do the Heimlich.
Ira, you have to get up off of your chair. Save this man's life.
So you mean to tell me, Garrett, that if
He's
you
patting
and
him on the
Ira...
He's just, rubbing his shoulder.
Now think about it. You and Ira are in a room together, and he can't help you, and you're choking on beef.
Oh, my God.
He's dead. Thank you.
Well, one of my questions for him is, how do you give it to yourself? I'd like to know.
Oh, I know how to do that.
I feel safer.
You throw yourself on the corner of a table.
Or over a dead guy that you couldn't help before you. Either one of those.
Yeah.
Throw yourself.
Or
Let's
also,
go to
what kind of
Hans.
objects can you use if the person
I don't
isn't
know, Hans.
strong?
Ira,
Hans of Detroit, Michigan. Yes, Hans, go ahead. Hans.
I was wondering, what's the largest object on record that has been ejected?
Wow, that is a great one.
Nice.
You know what I think it's going to be? I think it's going to be a doorknob.
Yeah,
And then if you do the Heimlich method on yourself, is that like called Heimlich baiting?
Heimlich what?
Like masturbating.
Heimlich baiting. Like
Heimlich baiting.
Yeah.
We're not asking him that. All right, Hans.
But it was a good question before your joke.
Yeah. Heimlich baiting?
Yeah, I like that.
The hell's that?
It's kind of masturbation.
No, it isn't. Get rid of him. Stupid.
That was a good question, though, that he had.
Yeah, he had a great question.
Let's go to Matt, who's in Pasadena, California. Yes, Matt, go ahead.
I would ask him if he saw the movie Choke.
That's a kaboom.
No, here's one. Here's one, Christina. Have you ever been in a restaurant and they didn't know you were there and somebody started choking on a piece of food?
Yeah.
That's one.
I was also curious if, like when you're on the plane and somebody goes down and everybody's like, is there a doctor on the plane? Like, does he just hide and I don't want to deal with this? I don't want to be that
Well,
guy.
no, that doesn't mean the person's choking. They usually have a heart attack or something, So I don't know. No, you're not allowed to hide. It's against the law.
Most doctors aren't shy.
I mean,
When
I'd be
someone's
like,
asking for help.
stop it with the, I don't want to sign anything right now.
Now,
Please.
you remember just a few
Well,
weeks
wait a
ago?
minute.
Doctor, he's
Hey,
famous.
guys, did I tell you that years ago, I don't know why, but I used to lie when I flew places and I would tell people I was anything but an actor or
insane.
But it was years ago. I wasn't, well known, but I would fly somewhere and I was a disc jockey or whatever. And a lot of the times I would tell a woman sitting next to me that I was a doctor. We were flying.
You are totally insane.
We were flying to I was going someplace crazy like to Scottsdale, Arizona or whatever from New Orleans. And something came up in the plane. I just told the woman I was a doctor and that announcement came over and it said,
Well, why would you get up and do something?
And I forgot that I'd said it to her and I went, what? And she said, you said you were a doctor and they need a doctor. I got up. Wait a minute. And I went in the bathroom. No, I just got up and went in the bathroom. And I knew a doctor or a nurse or somebody would come. And you know how it's hard to see in the seat and everything else? Yeah. I just went in the bathroom and waited for a while. And then, no, I couldn't do anything. So I came out and I sat down and she went, oh my God, what was it? I said, oh no, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. And they took the guy out of the plane and everything. Oh, you know what? I would land someplace, Kevin, and I would date the woman all weekend as a doctor. Oh yeah. And I would say that I was going to a convention.
I was never able to do anything like that. Even when I was playing straight, and dating, I was always honest, I never lied or never made anything up.
You know what else I was, Garrett? I would be a scout for a football team.
Yeah.
I would pick a football team.
Well, you know football, so that's...
Yeah, so I'd be a scout, I would be a doctor, I would be a divorce attorney. That was always a good one. And I was going in, whatever. Also, I would be an investigator. Like I was a federal marshal. I would do a federal marshal thing. And I was flying from New York, and I was going to go question somebody in a town I was in. Yeah, I would do that a lot.
When you tell your wife these stories, does she laugh? Does she go?
No,
no. Like you
my
must have been
wife
crazy.
doesn't.
Like you must have been. You've had to entertain her the last 25 years.
My wife happens to be in love with me.
Of course.
This week. And in fact, I gave JT a title for a great hit record. She's in love with me again. And he said, that's a great country record, right? Because in long relationships, you fall in and out of love, right? And so I'm not exactly sure, maybe because I was sick or whatever, and I've been thinking about selling my home in New Orleans, which I love very much, and it's been hard for me to even deal with it. And I think she's feeling kind of sorry for me, and she's been asking about me and texting me and stuff, which is unusual. And so, but no, she doesn't find the lies and the the silliness. She doesn't find it interesting.
But when you were dating at first, when you first started dating,
no,
did you wouldn't tell her like some of these crazy things that you did?
No.
Throwing yourself up on Mel Brooks's limousine?
Yes, she would hear me tell these stories at parties.
Yeah.
And I think she liked it, but she thought that after we got married, I was going to not be this way all the time. And it's true about women. They really think, and you know this, Kristen, they think you're not going to be this way all the time.
What sign is she?
She is a Leo, and I've never had
my God.
The worst. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, okay. Can I
now,
just
wait a
say
minute.
this? Wait
a minute.
Marianne was
3 in a row.
Oh.
3 in a row.
Leo, I would never date a Leo ever again.
They are
man or woman.
They are the lioness. They are to be worshipped. They are to be looked up to, and everything else. And
they're always right.
Yeah, Matt of Pasadena. We're going to end our
women.
No, it was a man.
Anytime I tell somebody I'm a Scorpio, they go, "Oh Jesus, here we go."
No,
you have something to say about all of
Wait a
them.
minute.
No,
You're a Scorpio?
Oh Jesus, here we go.
But wait a second.
Yes.
Your vagina's not just wet. Your entire back and butthole are wet 24 hours a day.
Strong,
That's
too,
how.
like bull.
Garrett, they are wet everywhere. Their underarms are wet. Everything is wet on a Scorpio.
Where's the
Matt? I don't know where it is. It's down there somewhere.
Wow.
A buddy of mine, his girlfriend was a Scorpio, and he said her clit was like a tennis shoe. It was like a big. What
does that
What are
mean?
those? It just stuck out really far. He used to call it.
I
the
didn't
commander.
get it either, Kevin, and I was like, I don't know.
He called it the commander.
I know.
No,
Rubbery.
some women have a little tiny clit, and some women have one that look like a little penis. It comes screaming
I like
out
the
at
ones
you.
that
I
look like a
promise
little
mine
penis.
doesn't look like a penis.
Matt of Pasadena, what's your final question for Mr. Heimlich, Dr. Heimlich?
Well, actually, I just have a story of when my brother was a waiter. He saved a woman with it. And my mom told me about it, and she said, your brother saved her life the other day. She said he had to perform that Hyman maneuver.
That's cute.
They said, if she wasn't a virgin, she'd be dead.
Yeah.
All right. Matt, by the way, you performing at the Ice House this weekend somewhere? Something like that?
Twice.
All right.
Lance on
All right.
Twitter asks, has anyone ever accidentally been killed by the Heimlich maneuver?
God, yeah.
Now, is Dr. Heimlich liable if they break a rib or something?
No.
Well, you know what?
I'm not a lawyer.
That's just a
Well,
maneuver.
I've added it to the question.
Yeah. Well, so is the maneuver, the fake maneuver of the wrestlers when those kids kill the maneuver. Garrett, how much time do we have? Just a couple of minutes or so?
2 minutes.
2 or 3. Okay. Would you find Louise Labine and let Kevin hear her talking about a siren malfunction?
Who is Louise LeBlanc?
This is the one we ran on Friday, which they found, and I think if Garrett has it, I think you'll enjoy this.
What did you hear? What did the kids hear? What happened this morning?
We heard a siren blowing and looked like it stopped a while, then it blew it again. Boom! I got you. I said, Lord, what's going on here?
Exactly.
This is New Orleans, right?
It was early in the morning, and what did the kids do? What happened?
The mother was already up. You know, I was fixing their breakfast, getting their breakfast ready. And we heard all that noise. I said, what's going on here? Sounded like it was by the door. I got nerves.
Absolutely. So it's a malfunction, obviously, but how do you think, even if it's just a mistake and a malfunction, it still scares people? What do you think, what do you think should be done?
Well, I don't know. I just heard. When I hear all that, I get nervous. I get all nervous. I said, Lord, this world coming to an end. So much going on,
I hear ya.
Yeah.
She has a Southern accent.
She does.
Yes.
She does.
Oh, that's
All
good to
right.
hear.
Right. Great having Mike of Washington, D.C.'s mom to end the show. So thank you so very much. And we do this again tomorrow.
And what's her name again? Kimmy Ademi?
Anami.
Kimmy Ademi.
Anami.
Give her a call.
Anami.
Very good
Yeah.
show, Jay.
Yeah, really are. All right.
He wasn't here for the first part of it.
Thanks, Jay.
All right.
I'm gonna call my baby
That's insane.
on the telephone and say,
Let's go get stoned.